Walk it like I talk it. 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 Walk it like I talk it.
Hey guys, how are you? What's going on? It's Thursday. It's call-in night. What? Hello. It's a Thursday. It's a call-in, right? Um, I do want to talk about a couple of things, but I said, you know what? It's Thursday. I can't believe how fast this week went because you love that intro. I'm going to work on some intros specific to Real Talk Bougie. So I might use some of the same music. I don't know. I'm gonna go trolling around on SoundCloud. That's where I find that's let me be quiet. I'm gonna go find something. I do have a membership to Epidemic Sound. I do. Um I'll see if there's anything interesting because some of it is just kind of electro funk. You know what I mean? Like it's keyboard music and electric drums and all that stuff. I mean, it's okay. But I have to just be in my mood to find good music because there's a lot of not appealing. So I just have to be in my mood and headspace of, okay, that's it right there. And then I can kind of visualize what I'm going to put with it if I have some stuff already or if I have to cut some memes together, that kind of stuff. I just kind of have to be in my mood. And as you can see, I really haven't done anything with any. Normally, I'm very much of I do a lot of stuff for my channel. But girl, since Real Talk Bougie kind of came into my life in a meaningful way, in September, on top of Love Lies and Lace Fronts, sis has been busy. I haven't been able to really be as creative with my artwork and stuff, my graphics. Um, like I typically am, and I'm just too anal to turn it over to anybody, so I have to do it myself. So, but it doesn't take long. It's just a matter of like just carving out the time to find what I need, and then I can usually put stuff together fairly quickly. Because I know me, right? I know what I like. Anyway, I did want to talk a little bit about the Kevin Hart Tasha K thing. Number one, because Tasha K is part of this community. Not really so much because of Kevin Hart, but it is an interesting case. And it is some of I kind of, I mean, I'm not on her level by no means, but I am a YouTube commentary channel. And you do have to be so careful. But ma'am, I'm gonna watch it again so we could really get in depth if that's what you guys want to do. But I did get a hold of the document. Thank you, Jesus, because I don't like having to go to other people's channels and try to see what I can get off of what other people posted. I don't like that. So I was hunting high and low yesterday. I finally found somewhere where it was posted and I went ahead and just got a subscription. And I would like to thank like December, you guys have really come through supporting this channel and it helps with things like that. So I really appreciate that. But I would be in my pocket anyway because sis nosy like that. So I certainly would have paid anyway because I, I I have to know. Anyway, but I did get a copy of the actual lawsuit, which is quite interesting. And thankfully, I already had a membership to Tasha K Live because of the Sonia interview. And I hadn't been back over there. So I didn't get a chance to rewatch it. My intent was to rewatch it last night. But after watching the Maisha Shakes interview. Let me get over here too, because I made a visual. If you're like, who's Maisha Shakes? That's his assistant. Um, and I let me see. Okay, this is Maisha. This is Maisha. So they so yeah, so this is Maisha, and it was a very interesting conversation. I'm gonna be honest, I would never have watched this interview had it not been for the lawsuit. I have no interest in in Kevin Hart. Like, not trying to be funny or anything, but I had no interest in Kevin Hart. I really, you know what I mean? Like, I've heard that he's had some affairs, and I knew that his wife was cousins with the girl who had Tristan's baby. Um, that he cut out on to be with Chloe and etc. So these girls, these cousins have had some interesting situations. I guess the women in this family don't mind going and trying to and do what they got to do to get who they want to be with, right? Um Jordan, I think, had Tristan fair and square. I don't know what happened with Chloe, but all I know is that they're cousins, right? Jordan and Nico, right? We knew that there was some stuff going on. Ma'am, this lady, Maisha, with the knotless braids, girl, she told a lot of business. I don't know anyone who saw it in this live right now, but it was interesting. I haven't liked Kevin since his first wife. I don't have any like, I give zero. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not I don't like him, it's not I like him. I literally feel nothing. You know what I mean? Like, I feel nothing. Ella, you say this channel is fun. Thank you. I feel nothing about Kevin Hart. Okay. We love it here. Oh, you guys are amazing. Thank you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But I watched the interview because now that there's a whole lawsuit and it involves a YouTuber, and Tasha K's already in for Cardi B with $4 million. I was like, I gotta go see what's going on because this sounds like it's gonna be some trouble again. So anyway, and I do want to talk. If you guys are up for it, we can look at Sonia, her 2 hour live. Obviously not the Tasha K live, but the live that she did, like, girl, a week and a half ago, that we've been putting back and putting back and putting back. And also I can drop the call in. I think we were gonna go to no, we weren't gonna go to this last week. Girl, we've been putting this off since it showed up. We first, it was like, yeah, no. And then now it's like, you know what? Let's just see how much she was lying. Okay. It's seeming like a little bit of a pile on for bloggers. Well, maybe you're right, Glorious. It just might be. Okay. You're right. I think people don't like to be talked about, but Tasha K, look, this is my overall impression of the interview last night. Um, so I watched so we're going to talk Chernesto, and we're going to talk some of this too. But if you want me to get in depth, I do have the lawsuit. So if you guys want to talk about this like tomorrow or something, we can get in depth with it. Also, I'm going to bubble up a throwback that is interesting because, Sylvia went on a field trip yesterday, and we had talked about some of this. We talked more from the eviction standpoint of the property that they went to go visit. It was two properties in question back in 2021. I think the property he leased, that I think he intended to be the barber college, there was an eviction like 5 months after he signed the papers. And we talked about this months ago, but it was a really good video. We were talking a little bit about Erica King and et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to bubble that up as a throwback, and I will have that on my community post. So guys, get into it. I think it's really good, and I might replay some of it this weekend because I think right in the middle of the video is kind of a deep dive into an eviction that has to do with the location where Sonia claims that she met Nesto. When she said that she met him, he was outside leasing a new space. This was that space. So I thought it was quite interesting. And I don't know, maybe some of you don't remember seeing it. Some of you may remember seeing it, and some of you are new here. So I would say get into it. I'm going to share it on my community wall. Okay. Um, but yeah, so I watched this last night and I thought it was actually interesting. I thought it was interesting from a standpoint that she spilled all the beans. This would be a nightmare. If somebody came to work for you and she sat her behind down in a chair and talked to like a big blogger who does tea and gossip, or just drops the tea basically, it would be a nightmare. So from that standpoint, I could imagine why he was pissed or concerned. A couple of things came out that were concerning regarding this lawsuit. So I know Pam did like a deep dive. I think she read this whole thing because I was watching. I had to dip out towards the end, so I didn't get to finish, but I think she got all the way close to the end, but I wanted to go back and read it for myself. So if you guys want to do this, make sure to let me know in the comments tonight if you want to just kind of read through, see what we understand, and also based on having seen the interview. If anyone has seen the interview, I think it's going to be more meaningful just from a standpoint of ma'am, ma'am dropped his tea. So from that point, I would imagine with an NDA, but she claims on a couple of times them checks weren't checking. Okay. She put Kevin out for a couple of different things. It was alleged that Sir may have a gambling problem. I don't know if it's severe, but ma'am said a lot of things that I don't know if are true or not true. You know what I mean? According to her, she said that he would go to high stakes gambling, and he was gambling sometimes $1 million, in an evening of cards. Okay. So I was like, well, damn. Okay. Um she talked about the night that he had that accident where it was either one or two people were in the vehicle. And she talked about an alleged $4 million payoff because the person that he was in the car with, he has gambled up to $1 million in card games. He gambles with millionaires and billionaires. Okay. He hangs out with a very high profile set of men, and they, $1 million is like 1,000 or 10,000 to us. You know what I mean? Like he's playing with lots of money, but he's also a rich guy, right? But that's what she is alleging, and she did have a non-disclosure, right? And even when they parted company, she was receiving $30,000 a year for 3 years as a consideration. Remember what I told you? We talked about something um a few weeks ago, and I was saying that if someone signed something like as an exit to a company, if they had a new non-disclosure or non-compete, they would have to give them some sort of consideration. She was given a $30,000 a year consideration for her NDA as she exited working for Kevin Hart Enterprise. So she was paid and was being paid on a 3-year consideration, annually, as consideration to keep this non-disclosure. And it was pretty specific as to like practices, protocols, procedures, like basically like you're not to talk Sir's business, right? How they do business, his private affairs, anything, right? She said that there were some sort of loopholes. What they were, I don't know. But she mentioned that. Now they did start drinking towards the end. And at the end of the interview, Tasha K said that they had been there for almost about 2 hours. Now the interview was roughly about an hour and 15 minutes. And she says that she doesn't really cut the interviews, but obviously something had to be cut if they were talking for 2 hours and the interview's like 1:15. So what we missed out on, I don't know. But ma'am talked about a lot. She talked about how much she was getting paid, which I'm sure was part of the non-disclosure too. She said that she was getting paid 30. She started out as a receptionist. She started getting paid $30 an hour and she worked for him for 3.5 years. She managed his complete personal calendar. So anything of where he had to be somewhere for a meeting, his personal calendar, no, that went through security, like for personal things like dinner with his wife or events with family, things like that. But as far as business was concerned, at the office, she handled his calendar. And she basically, girl, she told everything. I mean, she all but told us what color underwear he wears. Hold on. Girl, it was a mess. Oh, the other night when I was chewing ice, my bad guys. Um, I was so sleepy, and sometimes chewing ice or drinking water is like the only thing that kind of wakes me up, and I was getting sleepy. Um, so I'm going out of order because I'm trying to go off what I remember. But she started working there as a receptionist. She got promoted to a assistant. She was hoping, I guess, at one day to become some sort of a producer. How she qualifies for that, I do not know. And I'm not saying because she doesn't qualify. I'm just saying that um that was what she was hoping, to be promoted to actually work in a different capacity for KHE, right? Anyway, so she was managing lots of different things. She would do a few things for his wife, but mainly his wife would come into the office like to pick things up, pick up mail, things of that nature. She talked about the time when Kevin Hart was hey buttons all day, hey boo boo, when it came out that he was cheating and how bad it was, and the wife was really upset. And I think she said that she left around the time that it came out that he was with a woman named Morgan, which she shows her picture, shows her Instagram. I looked her up yesterday. Just another very light skinned mulatto looking woman, very pretty. Obviously he has a type. After he left his wife, he's gone for very um like light skin, kind of racially ambiguous. So you don't know what, you just know that maybe there's some sort of, there's something, you know, not white, but just ethnic. I don't know what to call it. You know what I mean? Um they could be from America, they could be Latina background, they could be just Caribbean, they could be racially mixed. I don't know, but he just seems to have a type, right? Exotical, a woman, you know, light skinned, you know, curly, silky hair. He seems to have a type, right? So this woman Morgan, if I can find her Instagram, I'll pull it up, but she's some sort of like a fitness type model, of course. And Tasha K was funny. Oh, someone posing by themselves all the time, vacation all the time, exotic locations all the time. And she was like, ooh, designer head to toe. Like she was like, you can be around my husband. And allegedly she was collaborating with his company on something, but um it was rumored that he was with this lady, and I guess Miss Maisha felt uncomfortable, and that's what made her exit the building. Now, she talked about things that happened at Kevin Hart in Enterprise, such as a known affair going on within the office and someone being dismissed without an investigation. She talked about the accident that Kevin Hart had where where it appeared that he was driving and then someone may have switched places. Also that this was a Barracuda, so it was a car that he had gotten fixed up. It was like an old school and got it fixed up. It did not have any insurance. She was called by one of Kevin's people who works in the office, um, and said that they needed some information because they needed to backdate the insurance because he was driving with no insurance. And I guess they needed to have insurance because they wanted to make sure that the person who got hurt got their medical bills paid for, and Kevin's, and just I don't know. The car was rebuilt. It was not totaled out. Not that that made a difference, but I think basically from like a lawsuit standpoint, also I guess they just wanted things taken care of. I don't want to say publicly, but as they should, had he had insurance, right? Um, so Tasha K goes, "Oh, so there was some insurance fraud?" And the girl was like, yeah, I guess. So, I mean, accusations of insurance fraud, affairs, payoffs, office shenanigans, people having affairs, people being dismissed with no investigation, sexual harassment, um, a mess in that office, an office shit show is what I got. Like being an HR person, an office shit show. Okay. That's what I got. If you guys want me to watch it again and actually take some notes, I will. But it was like, well, damn, my God. Okay. Was it earth shattering? Like, no. But it's the little things that if someone decided to investigate further this accident, if they wanted to investigate insurance fraud, were you paid off $4 million? Were you driving or were you driving? That could be a problem, right? Um, that's a problem right there, right? Lying to police officers, fake police reports, things like it was just kind of like, well, damn, okay. That's what they, what I mean, that's what I'm understanding based on what was said, right? This is what ma'am was alleging, Miss Maisha. Again, the office situation, there was two people who were engaged in a romantic relationship. Um, there was also there was a situation where Kevin Hart was found to be having an affair, and there was some sort of a sex tape, but the only person who could have been recording the tape would have been from Kevin's phone, and one of his maybe closest friends or closest allies, one of his buddies, I think got taken down, some guy named JT something, for either leaking it, doing something. And basically, like, he became the fall guy for it. But if you, like Maisha said, when you're looking at the tape, there's nobody that could be recording this tape but Kevin. And Kevin obviously was recording this romantic encounter, but the girl never gave permission to be filmed. And I think that was obviously the problem, because there was some sort of allegations and charges, and I think that affected him doing the Oscars. So it was like a big deal. He lost a lot of jobs and sponsorships because of this, and he tried to blame his friend, but what she's saying is it was really him. Now, why he leaked it, I don't know, or why the person leaked it, how it got leaked, I'm not really sure. I would have to watch it again because I was purely watching it to just watch it. I wasn't watching like, oh, okay. So I got most of it, but I obviously that part I kind of like, I don't know, I must have zoned out because of course I was multitasking, of course, at the time. So I'd have to watch it again to really get the full scope for you guys. Um, but it was interesting. Um, it was alleged that maybe they have an open marriage, maybe not. Aniko was quite upset with Kevin. She talked about maybe the wife being in some sort of a depression and all kinds of things. Like it was really bad. Um, so the things that she said, I think on face value, maybe some people might feel like it wasn't that much, but being in the workplace, just the sexual harassment alone, just the tactics of terminating and investigating, um, allegations in the office, sexual harassment, dating in the office, um, the circumstances revolving around the guy who got fired, who could have possibly had something to do with the sex tape. I don't know. That was weird. Also, the whole office romance thing. Um, and then what else? And then really, she also had a situation. She's on the clock being paid hourly, working over 40 hours, and then no longer being paid overtime. So she was an hourly employee, but they were not paying her overtime. So they were treating her as salary, but she was really hourly, and she had to be at his disposal when he needed something, phone calls, emails, all of those kind of things. And I think towards the end, it was one of those, well, you're not clocking in. Well, I can't clock in because you told me to not work 40 hours, but she's working 40 hours because she had to because her boss required it. So it was a mess. It just sounds like a very unprofessional shit show type situation. And she said that when she basically, I think they sat down and had one of those conversations where she just basically agreed to quit, and they cut off her health insurance, and she said that she was having therapy at the time, and they ended up giving her 6 more months of therapy. She did get like I said, she had a consideration for when she left, and she was getting $30,000 a year just to be gone, because she was held up under this NDA. But clearly the NDA was a problem because she went to go talk to Tasha K, and now everyone's getting sued. So Kevin Hart, I think they talked about the $90,000, which was that he wants from her. The Tasha K thing, I believe, is that allegedly somebody reached out to Kevin Hart Industries or Kevin Hart directly and said that maybe they wanted $250,000, or for the episode not to run potentially. I need to read through this document myself. Like I said, I heard the reading of it through two different sources, but I haven't read it myself to kind of really grasp and understand everything. So if you guys want to go through it tomorrow, I did get it and I have the whole thing, but I'm not, girl. I need to get some sleep and some coffee. That would be something we need to do like first thing tomorrow morning, if you guys want to go through it. But I think it's quite interesting, also just from a standpoint, like I said, because girl, I mean, Tasha K um, is being held to account for this. I don't know. I feel like she is in the middle of it because ma'am did mention she had an NDA, and I guess they feel like that should have stopped the interview right there, which is a possibility, but I don't know. You know what I mean? Not my circus. So I'm not really sure how they validate whether they're, whether they have to, like, oh, you have an NDA. Well, you know, do we need to observe that or not? Um, I'm not really sure. What was Aniko doing before Kevin? I don't know. Some of these women are like professional girlfriends. So I can't. So what was Aniko doing before Kevin publicly, allegedly, according to Tori, fooling with her husband? But as far as a profession, I'm not really sure like what her profession, her education is. She might be one of these girls whose moms knew early on they were beautiful and would meet a rich guy. You know what I mean? So maybe she was in training to meet a millionaire. I mean, that's real. I hate to say it. But that is for real though, right? Um, that young girl said her soul sold her soul for nothing. I just don't. And the word that she mentioned has mental health issues too. What I feel bad for this one, Maisha, is that she got on there and talked her ass off. And at the end of the day, no matter what happens with Tasha K, this woman is a single mom, and I don't know, is in a position to pay that sum of money to an already wealthy person. So if they get her and say 90,000 plus my attorney plus this and that, I would hate that for her, but I guess she should have thought about that. I mean, clearly, and this is my opinion, she's got to be disgruntled. It just sounds like there was a lot going on in the office. It sounds like she was into the tea aspect of it. I'm going to be honest. Like, if you know that you are working in an unprofessional environment, either you keep your nose down and you stay out of the business, or you get out of there. You know what I mean? Like, if it's too unethical for you, get the hell up out of there. You know what I mean? Like, some places for some people are not their cup of tea. Like, I could imagine, even if you're working at the corporate office of Hustler Magazine, it's Hustler Magazine. They deal in pornography. You know what I'm saying? Playboy. Um, I don't know, anything else of that nature, right? They may have a very professional environment to a certain degree, but at the end of the day, the product line is adult oriented. So of course there's going to be certain things that may or may not agree with you. And also, not to say that there's going to be shenanigans in the office, but if it's there's just some places that might not be your cup of tea. And when she's working there and everyone's gossiping, it sounds like everybody was gossiping in the office. It sounds like people obviously are up in Kevin's business. And if that's something that you are sensitive to and you are the assistant and you have knowledge of things that could be bothersome to you, that might not be a place to go, like a place to work. So sis is saying, I just left the Department of Defense, the military people batshit crazy. I quit. Yeah. So as a civilian or maybe a former enlisted person, I don't know. Look, let me drop this phone line and we can talk about it. If you guys also want to talk Shernesto, I'm definitely up for it. I just wanted to talk a little bit about this. If you guys want to go more in depth, like I said, I do have the 21-page document. I know it's been up and down the YouTube streets. If you guys want to go through it and talk a little bit more about it, I'll watch the video again and I'll take like copious notes. And then we can really, really talk about it. Also, I'm gonna rewatch Sonya. I was trying to watch it last night, but you guys know on my other channel, Olivia had her baby. Girl, Olivia had her baby alone from Liv's Life. She's a YouTuber, vlogger. And I had to watch that to prepare for this morning, girl. And after I watched that, girl, I was so like, well, damn. Okay. I was like, damn. I fell asleep. I woke up. I don't know what video was playing, but I know it wasn't anything of what I was trying to watch. And I took my behind to sleep. Okay. So you're here for it. Okay, we'll talk about it tomorrow. We will. And then this week we did not do anything in terms of deep dives and stuff like that. I am gonna drop a link. I'm gonna start recording some of these videos with some of the documents for like the deep dive stuff. I'm gonna try to do like less than an hour so they're more like because I think some of these things, if they have I'm gonna say it like this, if they have addies, um, I just know that that last video that I posted when I went in depth on Erica King, I don't know what triggered something, but girl, I'm not gonna do that again because that caused me a little bit of drama. And I was like, oh, okay. So, because YouTube they took my video down. Okay. So first of all, I was not happy about that. But then number two, I was like, well, what can I do? So I'm gonna have to put it either on my website. Some people said Patreon, like I guess if I wanted to go live over there, but it's so hard to go to live in two different places. So I just feel like, you know what? Um, I might just record them and then just put them up somewhere because I feel like you guys want these documents and want like the deep dive episodes, but some of the things I know Erica King is not supposed to be on social media, but maybe somebody she knows is on social media, and I'm not sure. So I'm not really trying to find out because, ma'am has been accused of out here of doing a lot of stuff, and I'm not. You guys can read between the lines. Anyway, so that kind of made me tamp the brakes down on going through some of these documents because clearly, I don't know. I'm not going to say she doesn't want to be talked about, but I don't know. Anyway, um, yeah, I think I can talk more freely about it, not on YouTube. That's what I'm gonna say. Anyway, maybe we'll do a Instagram live one day, and I'll just tell you guys like my honest opinion, but not on here. You didn't have to come over there and see because, girl, mm-mm, girl. Anywho, yeah. So yeah, we'll do that. See, I made my little artwork so we can talk about it. But yeah, I have this. Let me show you guys. Hold on. I pulled this whole thing up. So I have this. I have the full complaint. Let me get rid of them. So I have this. So yeah, I would love to go through it and we can do that tomorrow if you want to. Like take an hour and because now that I've seen the episode, yeah, I mean, it seemed a little petty, but and then he wants Tasha K to be an example. Like, I guess he wants to make an example out of Tasha K. And I'm like, please, she's just doing her job. Ma'am was coming, my opinion, ma'am was coming regardless. She's pissed. So one way or the other, sis didn't care about her NDA. And it just happened to be that Tasha K was like, girl, come on, let's go talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Um, I don't know that she had intent in terms of like shopping a Kevin Hart expose. Now, I don't know what her responsibility is in having to like if someone has an NDA, now do you have an NDA once you now not that they have an NDA, but now you have like you are responsible also because you entertain someone who is under contract to not spill the beans. I don't know. So it's going to be interesting. Um, but girl, ma'am, ma'am, ma'am dropped enough tea that I think could be problematic to Kevin. I do. From a couple different standpoints. That's just what I think. Um, girl. Yeah, I don't know if it was Sonya. I'm going to say that. I don't think I said it was Sonya. I don't know. I don't know. Sonya is I don't think it was Sonya. I think it was someone who has something to do with damn Erica King. Okay. That's what I think. Anyway, okay, we're gonna get up off of this. We'll talk this with this woman if you guys are ready. Let me drop the call in again. I don't know who's out there. Let's talk about if open topic. So we can talk about this. We can talk I didn't drop it again. I thought I dropped it once. Maybe I did not drop it at all. Maybe I think I dropped it earlier, but anyway, I just dropped it. Let me pin it. It's Thursday. It's a call-in, guys. So let me see. Okay. Let me get to my monitor. Okay. Let me pin this so you guys can have it. Do you guys want me to I'll open up a Q&A box to see if you guys have any questions for those who don't want to call in? Setting it could be precedent setting because they said they want to make now precedent setting from a standpoint of Yes, Monique, it was a shit show. Like if you're coming in, like say all of a sudden you interviewed for a job and they told you that all this stuff was going on, either it's one of those where you come in and damn everybody's under investigation, like for real. Glorious, I'll be right there with you, hun. It's like everyone's under investigation from just a standpoint like top to bottom. I'm getting this place straight, or it's we have to do a lot of education and policy. We need to drive policy. We need to do a lot of change management, and we need to change the culture, right? And some places don't want that. You know what I mean? Some places don't really, some, especially small companies, smallish companies, don't always want that. Hey, Glorious, how are you?
Hey, how are you? Can
I'm
you hear
fine.
me?
Thanks. Yes. Happy Thursday.
You too. So I'm going to be real quick because I'm just getting back in the house. I went to go see Kim tonight. I just had to mention that. Just went to go see Kim. So, and it was a
Oh,
great show.
really?
Yeah, it was great. It was a great show. So I
Didn't
just want to go ahead. I'm
didn't he
sorry.
sing for Shirley and Nesto for their wedding?
I don't know.
I
Well,
I feel
don't.
like when I saw in Essence magazine, Kim was the. Isn't it funny how everything just rolls right on back to Ernesto? I believe
No.
Kim. So Kim, Kem, right?
Yeah, Kim. Yeah.
Okay, with the beautiful voice. Sir, I believe sang for the couple. But let me let you get your points across, and I'm gonna let my fingers do the walking and find that little tidbit of information, that little fun fact.
You just had me laughing because now you've ruined my night of seeing.
Stop it.
No, I'm just
No.
kidding.
It was still good. Enjoy your time.
It was
But
still
yeah.
good. You're right. You're right. So yeah, I just real quick, and then I'm gonna drop back down into the chat because you know, I this my first time looking at Nesto's Instagram was it yesterday or this morning? No, I think it was this morning. First time looking at his Instagram out of all following this whole thing, this whole train wreck the entire time, and I had a little bit of an epiphany after looking at his Instagram. I know I'd heard everybody saying that talking about that he had a lot of pictures with celebrities and all of that stuff in there, and which is true. And I saw that, and then I just started thinking, no matter what Sonia does, I just hopefully she's listening to this. She's never going to be good enough for him. I mean, even though he was perpetrating. I mean, he was perpetrating a fraud. But I'm just saying. But after that, she's always going to be a step down to him, even after he gets out of jail, when and if he gets out of jail. So all those feelings that she was seems as if she was feeling about not being, his first choice and inadequate and all of that stuff, that should be confirmed because in based on what I saw, I don't think he'll ever want to go back to just being regular if he can help it. If he can help it. So that's all I wanted to say. I'm late to the game of looking at his Instagram, but yeah, after seeing that, I don't think he'll ever. I think he's using her, and I don't think he'll ever want to go back to being normal.
Well, I mean, that's a possibility. Look, here's Kim right here. I don't know if you can see your screen right now. Um, is that him? I
Yeah,
asked
that's it.
Kim and also sings Nobody. That's our favorite. Nobody is that's our favorite song. And Ernesto told me that whenever he hears that song, he thinks of me. Trying to say it like Shirley, and he thinks of me. Shirley cracks me up with her broadcaster voice.
Oh my
We
God.
had him sing our favorite song, Nobody. I'm ruining it for you. Oh, glorious.
That's okay.
That he was the wedding singer for the Williams. Yes.
Wow. Yeah. That's just yeah. Okay. That's
That's just takes the
anticlimactic, but it's
banana, right? It just takes the cake.
Yeah, it's okay though. It's okay. It was still a good show, but and that may just be even more of what I'm talking about. He, even though he, was on somebody's coattails, he, I don't think will ever be able to go back to just being normal or being with the side chick. How? He's never going to be able to do that. He may try to con somebody else out of some money, but I don't think he'll ever be able to do that.
Well, to your point, someone in the comments this week mentioned that he's hypergamous. And
Yeah.
oftentimes, hypergamy is always associated with women in terms of social climbing. And,
Yeah.
I don't want to say gold digger, but just social climbing. Like you may have someone who was born and raised in one, middle class, and their desire, they want to be rich.
Yeah.
That's it. They want to
Yeah.
be rich, and it's not by hook or by crook, and it's not by anything any means necessary, but they may have just made a decision in life. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. I'm going to go to law school, I'm going to go to medical school, or I'm industrious. I'm going to sing opera. I'm going to dance ballet. I'm going to play tennis. I'm going to whatever it is, right? I'm going to climb out. I want to be with people. I want to be with a different set, right? Um, he just strikes me as hypergamous. So I found that to be quite a valid statement. And whether he's a bum or not, whether he's a criminal or not, he can still be hypergamous. And clearly he wants a certain type of woman that he
Exactly.
wants to be with, because he wouldn't have been with Miss Carol Lamar. He wouldn't have been with these women who are very business focused
Yeah. Every
and
deal and yeah.
career oriented. He wasn't with a bunch of bum chicka bum bums. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
He's the and even the people that he kind of is accused of swindling are still also aren't all bum chicka bum bums. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
when Sonia says, "Well, he never asked me for money," when Tasha K said, "Well, maybe he tried to swindle you," and she goes, "He never asked me for money." Well, that might not have been the swindle. He might have been trying to use you for something else. Like just because, like every swindle doesn't include her pulling money out of her pocket. It could have been just using you for cover.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not always what you think it is. He could be using her for anything. But yeah, I definitely see what you're saying. I mean, going he's not going to the RV park.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. He's not going to go to the, yeah, unless he can find someone to buy him some new RVs or something like that. Yeah, but you're right. He's not going to settle for her. So hopefully she gets that. She understands that and wakes up and understands that. I don't know. But
He likes this lifestyle, the tuxedos, the nice cars, the cigars, the good restaurants, the nice suits, nice shoes, all of those things. These are
yeah.
things he likes.
And I watched his Instagram. I watched him on his Instagram, and ironically enough, he wasn't as mush mouth on his his videos. You can actually understand something of some of what he was saying. So I just found it ironic. I did. I found it ironic. It's my first time. Yeah, I'm late to the game. Like I said, it's my first time watching any of his videos on his Instagram. But yeah, and I just said, well, wow, I can see to a certain degree, I can see how he was able to fake it at least a little bit, to fake it a little bit, at least a little bit,
A
you
little
know.
bit, because even when you like if you watch the video the other day when Phone Calls from Prison put the Christmas message at the end of the video, I mean, he had to sit and be very deliberate when he opened his mouth to not mess up and sound like he just fell off the turnip truck. You know what I'm saying? So he had to really
Yes.
try hard, but I do see what you sir is the equivalent of a woman, a cocktail waitress who works in the bar like a Anna Nicole Smith, and
Mhm.
she's a pretty girl, and she ends up marrying a billionaire because she's pretty, she has some conversation, and she looks nice in her uniform. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
that's Nesto. But yeah, Glorious, I'm sorry I ruined it for you. But yeah, Kim was the wedding singer at Shirley and Ernest's wedding. Um trust me, having these little facts in my head do me no good.
Do we
Other
know
than
who
just
paid for their wedding? I'm sorry. I'm just curious. Now that you said that,
I don't know. They didn't say. So Mr. Tim Conway, if you're looking on your screen, who's Tim Conway? Tim Conway is I see you, Willie Will, behind backstage. So just hold on. I've got another person ahead of you. Um Tim, well, is it Tony? It's Tony Conway. If you don't know who Tony Conway is, if you were watching Real Housewives when Cynthia and Peter got married, he
Mhm.
was the wedding planner for Cynthia and Peter's wedding. So he's like one of these Atlanta people, like Mr. Dwight.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. He's a staple.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
I don't know who paid for it. I'm assuming the bride and the groom. Someone's saying in the audience, Steve. I don't know. Maybe there were sponsors. I'm not really sure.
This is so
That's a
fascinating.
good question, but I don't know.
Okay. Well, I'm going to drop back down in the chat.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Take care. Have a great weekend.
You
Okay. Bye
too.
bye. Hi, Wisdom.
Hello, Queen. How are you?
How are you? What's going on?
I'm good. My parents are still here. My mom was just all up in my ear. I'm like, Mom, I'm trying to call in, and she's all over my. I had to go into another room.
Is mom interested in this story? Is she talking about Shirley and Nesto, or is she like, girl, what are you doing?
She has been catching up. Okay, she's
Okay,
been
girl, tell.
all on my channel, all on your channel. She's been getting all into the shenanigans, catching up.
It's an interesting story.
It is the story that keeps on giving. So, on yesterday, I believe it was, I met up with Miss Infamous Sylvia in
Yes,
Midtown Atlanta and
yes.
joined her field trip. Okay, and we was being nosy to check out Nesto's former barbershop. Okay, now I swear this story has so many layers because we were where we actually went to. It's a nail salon now, but I guess that was the second location where he was going to open up some type of barber college or something.
I think
And I
that
think
was
you were
what it
saying
was.
yeah, and I think that was the one that he got evicted from. I mean, well,
Hmm.
technically, he done got evicted from everywhere. If only he could get evicted from Cobb County Adult Detention Center.
Okay. I mean, that would be kind of what I would think he would want, but I don't know if that's, you know what I mean? Like, we don't know if that's what's going to happen. But yeah, he I think he was leasing that spot to do something with it, but he was only there for 5 months and never paid any rent. And
That's
there was a
crazy.
dispossessory claim. So yeah, I told everyone that I would share that as a throwback because yeah, I was looking at some of his evictions just to see like what civil litigations were out there on top of the criminal allegations. And this video, gosh, this video was in October. I can't believe it's only October. But this was on October 30th. So I guess that was like 2 months ago. But yeah, we've covered a lot of ground, and I think sometimes when we're going through some things, it's like you don't even realize what we're talking about until later we hear more stuff. And then it's like, oh, okay, I missed that. Or yeah, we talked about that. So, but what did you find on your field trip yesterday? What did you uncover? Oh, and let me just say two things. I got Willie Will and I got Pray Then Hustle who are holding on behind you. So yeah, tell us what you wanted us to know.
Sure. So again, we were attempting to see what was his barbershop, and we were right next door. We just didn't know it. We probably needed to go up the street a little bit. I went back on Instagram at the pictures, And as I'm scrolling, I didn't realize how long he's had that barbershop. It seemed like right after he married Shirley, he opened this barbershop. So that was interesting because, like, where do you get the money from? It seemed like this
Mm.
video, I think, was taken maybe 3 weeks before, but 2, 3 weeks before their wedding, I think, or a month before their wedding. So that
Which
was interesting. This,
video that I'm looking at now, the video that's on the
yeah,
screen? No, this
yeah,
video was in 2020. This was 2020.
right.
But you're talking
This,
about when
oh,
he
this,
opened up Nesto's in 2015, like Nesto's actual grooming
exactly.
parlor. Okay, so
Yes,
this is not that location. This is the other location, but the Nesto's grooming parlor, I'm not sure because it was a nice place and it was like a
it,
nice location. So now
it was big.
this
It's
is
actually
what
really.
go
Mhm.
ahead.
So what you're looking at right now on the screen, this is now a nail salon. This is when
Mhm.
Infamous Sylvia did her live. This is where we ended up. We thought that this was Nesto's barbershop, but this is Nesto's Buckhead. So it's a nail salon now. It's actually quite nice. And his barbershop seems like it's up the road. So I went through the video footage that I took and I actually was able to see where the real location is. So I might have to go back out there and just either go live or record some more videos so we can actually see because it's bigger than what it looks on in the pictures. You've got
Mm.
that entrance with the double glass door. So you've got the first glass door, then there's a little what do you call that entryway, and then there's another glass door that takes you into the barbershop, and then it goes all the way back to the back towards the parking lot. But it also goes over to the right. There's a picture on Nesto's Instagram. It's actually not a picture, it's a video where his son is saying, get to the money, check it out. And if you zoom in, you can actually see where he had it lit up, where it said 24-hour gentleman's parlor or
Mhm.
something like that. Which I don't know, is that code for brothel? Like, what is that code for? I don't know if
Yeah,
that's
I'm
code for
not
brothel, but
Yeah, I don't know. So this was yeah, there was a lot that was actually in this video. This was showing this year's birthday. Tasha and Ronald just opened up their shop. Aaron Hall was in there, which was interesting because Aaron Hall got called out for all that stuff with Diddy recently. And
hmm
then there was a lot about Tasha K in here. I mean, excuse me, not Tasha K, Tasha and Ronald, and also
hmm
about, excuse me, Erica King, excuse me. But yeah, this was an interesting episode that we did back on October 30th. So I'm gonna drop it in the chat. I see you.
has
I'm gonna drop it
anybody
in the
heard
chat.
from Has anybody heard from Erica? I mean, she's been so quiet. I don't
She's
know if
not
it's
allowed
been
on
Sylvia.
social media. Part of her release is
Oh.
she's not allowed on social media. So I don't know who would have heard,
Mm.
like maybe friends and family, but certainly on social media, I don't know who she would get in contact with because she's not supposed to be on here. And as far as reaching out to bloggers, I would imagine I wouldn't do that because she'd be jeopardizing her freedom.
Absolutely. I think Sonia should
She's
follow
on an
suit.
unsecured judicial release. So she
Wow.
probably better not.
What do you think about the fact that Sonia is not posting any more of her recorded jail calls with Nesto? And nothing where it seems like she's even talking to Nesto.
Well, it's
She
only
said she
been
said
a
she said
couple of
nobody's
weeks.
talking to him. That's true. That's
It's
true.
only been a couple of, first of all, when did she do the call with what's her name? Her little friend, Carl Thomas's baby mom. That was maybe 2 weeks ago. Now, as far as I guess let's go look since we're in the
Because I
neighborhood.
Yeah, I think she mentioned on her last live that Nesta wasn't talking to anyone. He's kind of in a funk. He's not talking to anybody. Um, I guess Dre is kind of
She's an
through with him for right
unreliable
now.
narrator to me. I'm gonna be honest.
She
I don't
is.
believe anything she says.
She
I
is.
It has to be proven. Um, so she did her live with Homegirl. Let's see. She did her
What is
live with
it?
Ma'am
Oh, that's
2
it.
weeks ago, and
Mhm.
Nesto called in, right? Um, I don't know. I mean, she's not posting. I don't know what that means. I don't know if it means anything. I know it seems like she has a job, right? Um, I don't know. I mean,
And
look, what it means could be is that he got word from his lawyer and they don't want him messing around. Like, mess around. Like, maybe they said F around and find out. Maybe someone, maybe someone had to give him a warning on if you keep wanting to do what you want to do, get comfortable. I don't
Mm.
know. You know what I mean? That's what I would imagine. They've collected $40 on the GoFundMe.
Oh, she's up to $40. Okay.
$40. Yeah. And
So
no new comment.
129 more years and she'll reach her goal. No, I'm kidding. 75 more years and she'll reach her goal at the rate that she's going. At the rate that she's going, it would take her 75 years to reach that
Absolutely.
$45,000
It's
goal.
not happening quick. So tell us what else you
Mm.
want us to know. What do you think about, so you're going back on a field trip, right? And
Yes.
you want to go and you're going to show us, you're going to go on a field trip and show us. So any of you guys who don't know who we're talking to, this is Wisdom's daughter. She has a channel. And like she said, she went on a field trip with Sylvia, infamous Sylvia, and they went to go and see where the Nesto's Buckhead location was. So they were at one location where he did have a dispossessory claim, an eviction for non-payment of rent. And I just dropped the link to that video. So if you want to check out like some of the what I talked about on that topic, you're welcome to do so. And then Wisdom's daughter is going to circle back and go back to the OG location of Nesto's grooming parlor and go and do some sort of virtual field trip. Is that coming up tomorrow or when is that coming up? When can we expect that from you so we can come watch?
Yeah, so I'm gonna do that tomorrow. I'm gonna go on a
Awesome.
reconnaissance mission.
Yes.
It will. I can tell you, it will be in the afternoon. So I won't
Okay.
give you an exact time, but it will probably be after 2. Okay,
Okay.
maybe sometime 2 or 3. So it'll
Yeah,
it'll
because
be in the
we don't
afternoon.
want to let our left hand know what our right hand is doing because you can just go ahead and
Exactly.
broadcast that. Everyone doesn't need to know where and when.
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
yeah,
So
all of that. So
they
yes. Okay.
thereabouts. Don't hold us to a time because life be lifing. Okay, I have a full
Absolutely.
time job. Don't
Absolutely.
hold me to a time. But I'm gonna go back out and we're gonna do some recon. Okay,
Okay,
I'm gonna be
good.
peeking through windows and be going in businesses and we're
Knocking on
gonna
doors,
see.
asking questions.
Yes,
Okay,
exactly. We're gonna see. I'm gonna try to interview some
good.
people and see if they know anything about it.
Okay, good. I'm eager to hear. So, okay, sis, thank you so much for calling in, and we will be coming over there. So, are you going to be doing this live, or are you going to just be recording and posting it?
I'm not sure, so you guys will have to wait
Okay, so we'll
and
just
see.
make sure to have our notifications set so when you post, however it happens, we'll be there.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Well,
All
you
right,
take
great.
care, and I will see you later.
You too. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Have a good
sis. I
night.
appreciate you calling in. Okay, take care. All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Oops. I'll be right with you, Pray Then Hustle. Willie, I got you live. Is Willie here? Willie, you might be on mute.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Hey, Willie, how are you?
I'm all right. I'm all right. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Awesome. I don't really know what we're talking about. This is
Okay.
my first time here. I see it said call
You
in.
just
I called
you're
in.
just saying call. Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
So, we are talking about, so this woman on the screen, this is Sonia Durham. She is the side chick to this gentleman here. His name is Ernesto Williams. If you look on your screen, so Ernesto Williams is married to Shirley Strawberry. Shirley Strawberry is the co-host on the Steve Harvey Morning Show. So Ernesto has a laundry list of charges, um, ranging from theft by deception, credit card fraud, all different kinds of things, and he's been sitting on he has charges in Fulton County, but he's being dormed and housed over in Cobb County, and he's been there for over 500 days. and it's developed into quite a soap opera. So that's we're talking a little bit about that. And then also earlier, I kind of got everyone up to speed, just my version of what I saw over on Tasha K Live regarding the interview with Maisha Shakes, who was the personal assistant for Kevin Hart. And Kevin Hart yesterday dropped a lawsuit for violation of an NDA and defamation for his assistant, and then I guess extortion for Tasha K because he's alleging that Tasha K or someone under her charge reached out to him and tried to extort $250,000 to not run the video, and he dropped a lawsuit. So that's kind of what we're talking about tonight.
Oh, well, gonna have to say because I don't know anything about it.
Okay.
I'm gonna just say, y'all keep talking about that.
Okay. What did you think we were talking about?
I mean, when I came in, I was trying to piece it together.
Okay.
I heard Nesto. I seen the picture with Shirley. I
Okay.
just,
Have you
yeah,
been following this story at all? What's been going on? Did you hear about the phone calls from prison?
I did not. I don't know anything about this. The only thing I know is Steve Harvey Morning Show. I catch that.
Okay.
That's
So
about.
you've heard of Shirley. She does the strawberry letter.
Yeah, yeah, I do know.
Okay, so she gives out like advice
Right.
to people writing in. So basically what's happened is I guess a couple of different things. One, people were really surprised that she had a ex-felon for a husband, but people have passed. So I think it was like, okay, he was a felon. Okay. In their marriage of less than 10 years, he's been arrested 3 times. He has a history of kind of, I would say, I'm going to just say alleged scamming and conning, mostly women, and doing like some shady transaction deals that usually end up getting dropped or going to civil court. But I think maybe he's just gone one too many times, and Fulton County could potentially be looking to do a RICO on him or bring him to a RICO, um, in terms of kind of the scope of all of his charges, what he's got going on, what he's been doing, and they feel like maybe they are trying to piece together that maybe this could be a criminal enterprise, things like that. Um, and he feels like maybe he's getting some of this heat because of who he's married to. Um, Also because he has been found to be having extensive conversation with this woman, who he was involved in a relationship prior. I know she does not look very attractive at this moment. These are probably not
Oh,
the
no,
best pictures,
she all
but
right right there. She all
she's
right.
all right. Okay.
All right.
So these are, yeah, this is kind of like some middle-aged shenanigans because Nesto is close to 6. These are like, I think some people come to the comments and are like, what in the middle age is going on here? Like, shouldn't these people be behaving? But if you were never behaving, what makes you think you're going to behave now? So do you have any comments on like, what do you think about that? Do you think like, what in the middle age is going on here?
I
Or
mean,
you're kinda like, "Hey, anybody I guess if they wanna get it, they can get it," right?
look, the man been doing this. He been doing it for a while. I mean, at this point, it seemed like he got caught up. I think he got too sloppy. That's what it was. He got too sloppy.
Mm.
But I mean, he been doing it this far. That's probably how he moved. If he stopped, he might mess himself up. If he stopped, he got to keep it going at that point.
I think that he did get sloppy. I think that's probably one of the things that happened. He was arrested unexpectedly, and they found things in his computer. He was also arrested with some paraphernalia and things like it's a mess, and he's been in jail now a year and a half. So that's kind of what we're talking about, but I would suggest get into it. I mean, I appreciate you calling in, and so maybe like get into the playlist. If you go into my playlist And I have one that's called Ernesto and Shirley. If you're interested, get into it. Start from the beginning. It's quite interesting because I think it does hit a couple of different. It hits several different areas. Um, and then call in next week because on Thursdays I definitely try to do a call in at least once or twice a week, but definitely on Thursdays. um and then ask questions in the comments, get into it there. And if you're looking to, there's lots of ladies in this community. We are a like 90-85% ladies, so feel free to call in and get into those comments.
The call in 98% with ladies. I'm
Well,
sure. I'm sure.
there's a
It's
lot
like,
of women that are in this community, so yeah, I was kind of surprised. I said, oh gosh, I've got a guy call in, so welcome, welcome, welcome.
well, then I'll leave y'all to it. Y'all do y'all thing.
Okay. Thank you so much. You take care now. Thank you for calling in.
All right.
Okay. All right. Bye bye. Pray then hustle.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes. What's
Okay.
going on?
I guess I'll pick up with the Nesto part since that's kind of where you left off, but and
Yes.
then I jump to Tasha K. So with the Nesto part, one part point that I wanted to make is that I think Sonya and Nesto didn't realize maybe until recently because you see lately she hasn't been posting anything on her YouTube channel and it
Hmm.
calls or anything, but I think they didn't realize all this time that every time he puts Sonya out there, it's actually hurting him, not helping. Like
Hmm.
him and Sonya for some reason kept thinking like, okay, Sonya, you go on this interview, Sonya, you post this, Sonya, you do that. It's like every single thing this lady does, we can't even see past like what Sonya wanted us to and Nesto wanted us to get out of her coming forward was he's been in jail for so long and he hasn't had a trial. We can't
Right.
even get to that point because we're looking at Sonya like, and what and who is you and why is you here? And he's married, you know. So and I think
She's not a
maybe
good representative. She's not good for
mhm.
business.
I think maybe they got the picture, you know, because now she's kind of took a step back. But even when she interviewed with Tasha K, Tasha, even with that, she thought she was going to this major platform to talk about how he's been in jail forever and his lawyer's not doing this, lawyer not doing it. That's what she went for, I'm pretty sure. But here's same thing with Tasha. Tasha said, "Now where's your man? Is your man okay with you doing all this and interviewing for another man?" So that's just adding to my point of how it's distracting sending Sonya when you're supposedly married to Shirley Strawberry, who most of us know from the radio, and you keep sending this lady as your representative that is trying to act like she's not the side chick. So I think they finally got the picture. We'll see. Sorry for rambling about that, but that was my
No,
first
you're
point I wanted.
good. No, that's no, you got to give the no. I agree with you. She went on an assignment and she wasn't even able to articulate some main points. Like
Hmm.
it went left so quick. I mean, she was sitting there and just can't really articulate what needs to be said. She's like you said it in 5 seconds.
Hmm.
What's so hard about saying um you know, like you said, he's been in jail 500 days. We want to get an indictment. His health is failing, this and that.
Hmm.
But she comes on and it's just screams side chick so
Yeah.
quickly that it was so distracting for Tasha to even like Tasha couldn't do anything but ask some questions.
Hmm. Yep. And then the
Yeah,
other
she's not a
point
good representative. Yeah.
with I think with her is well, this is our opinion, but it's I know that Nesto. It seems he's used to women with money, even though he were allegedly scamming them. But like the lady that gave him 90K at one time, 20K at one time, so he's used to messing around with these ladies that have money. Shirley, supposedly, we don't know. It seems like well, we know she supposedly has money now, but it seems like they were struggling at one point. But he's used to these certain type of ladies. Now he's with supposedly Sonya, and now you have a public defender and a GoFundMe. Doesn't that seem
Girl.
crazy?
It's a backwards hustle. He's backwards hustling now.
Now he's stuck with somebody. You didn't messed around with somebody talking about her breasts and all this stuff on these calls, and you were still married at that time. And this girl that got you plugged with a GoFundMe. I'm sure he's embarrassed. I don't think he know about that GoFundMe because he seemed like he had too much pride for that.
I don't, and it's $40. Like he said, anything you do, make sure it's putting you forward, not
Mm-hmm.
backwards. And everything that she has done, her channel, I don't even know if she's gotten herself monetized. Like she has 1,000 subscribers, but she might not have the hours. Just because you see a certain number of views doesn't mean you have the minutes. You know what I mean? You have to have a certain amount of hours. People could be tuning in for 5 minutes. People could just be clicking to just make a comment. So you never know what's behind 2.9K views. Just because it's got 2.9K views, it could have 100 hours of watch time. And
Mm-hmm.
that's not enough. You know what I mean? You need to have 4,000 watch hours. So she could be, but she, like, to Wisdom's daughter's point, she's not posting.
Right.
So that's a bomb. She's
Mm-hmm.
been going live for hours and hours and hours. That's a bomb. She went on Tasha K live. That's a bomb. Like she's bombing everywhere she goes,
She
and
is.
she's not helping. So it's really useless. People don't like her.
Mhm.
They don't
Yeah,
like
she's
her.
not helping his case at all. It would have been better if he had his son or maybe Dre or even probably Lamont talking for him. Anybody except like anybody else probably would have did a better job. But my last point on the Nesto part is it is I maybe I'm sure this probably has been going on for years, but I don't have any family members, anybody that's in the system, so I'm just I guess just oblivious to it. But the way that he has been there for 2 years with no trial, I mean, even if he is found innocent, let's say for example, which I know we all have our own opinion, but I don't some of that stuff sound like he did do, but we don't know. So it's a legend. But even let's say if he is found guilty of, I mean, innocent of everything, and they let him go, he still has lost 2 years of his life. So it's just really crazy the system right now. I wasn't aware, so that kind of shed some light. His case did shed some light to me on the fact that people are in there and they haven't even been tried, and they're in there for so long. I mean, it's just crazy that this is able to happen here. So that was my last thought on
Well,
him.
and I that's true, but let's say the combination, most people, let's just say it like this too. Most people are not in jail with everything from credit card fraud to grape,
Mm,
sexual assault, CP. Like you may have someone who's there on CP and they don't have all these, like this man has a host of charges.
yeah, you're right.
So I'm not saying that justifies it. I'm just saying that maybe somebody who's got credit card fraud and theft by deception and things like that, maybe those people are out hot and popping. I see you behind the scenes. Hold on just a minute, okay? Um, so you know what I mean? So he's got a lot of things going on. Um, so it's quite possible that um, with the variety of cases that he has, he's got bail on most of those things.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to the point of he has a high bail on things he should have a high bail on. If your daughter came to you and said, I got grape, or this happened, that happened, you wouldn't want that person out on the street. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that person would be seen as dangerous. Now, someone who's credit card fraud, maybe like, okay, maybe a risk to the community, but not dangerous. This is someone out here talking about she's afraid for her life. There's people out here
Mm-hmm.
who say they are afraid for their life. Then you have the weird stuff in the computer. So I'm not justifying, I'm just saying he has bail.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the court's problem. He can't afford it. And the things he doesn't have bail on, I think that they can justify why there is no bail on those things. Now, him having a bad lawyer is not the court's problem. He needs to talk to this woman and get her to fight harder for him to get a bail. And then maybe he can deal with, okay, I've got a $1.2 million bail or whatever, however, what it's going to be if they decide to let him out and have to work through the system of get continually trying to get his bail lowered. But he does have bail on some things, but it's a moot point because he's got to have bail clear on everything. And then
Mm-hmm.
also he has a hold in Henry County.
Oh wow.
So I'm just saying this too, and I'm not trying to be mean because I don't know Nesto, but at the end of the day, there's so many people out here who are going to work every day, or may have had an issue with the law and they're back home. This man has people running down to the jailhouse to fill out paperwork in his name. Everyone's not going through that. So he
Mm-hmm.
needs to understand why people have his name in his mouth. Why people have his name in their mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what have you been doing out here on the streets, sir? How is it that everybody at one point in time figured it was a good thing to do to come run down to Roswell and put your name on paper? You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
that's they didn't come down with your name. They didn't come down with Pray and Hustle. They didn't come down with Love Lies and Lace Fronts or Real Talk, but like nobody's running down there with my name, your name. They running down there with his name.
Yeah.
I don't know what he wants us to tell. Like, I can't feel sorry for, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he needs to work it out,
Yeah.
you
Do
know?
you plan
So
on following the actual whenever he has trial? Maybe it'll
absolutely.
be
Yeah, I
next year.
was before the calls came out, I was following the case.
Yeah,
Yeah. the
it's gonna
the
be
calls
interesting.
came out, that helped bring the story to life a little bit more, but we were on this before the calls ever came out.
Yeah. So now I'll shift to my Tasha K points because I know you have somebody else waiting. So with
Hmm.
Tasha, I did watch the interview with the intern with about Kevin Hart, and so when I
Hmm.
watched it, a few things, I
Did
to
she not
me
tell all them folk business or what?
now, to me, it was pretty. Okay. So this is my thing. I know Kevin Hart isn't the most funniest person to me. I'm actually more like a Mike Epps is more funnier to me.
Hmm.
But when I have watched Kevin Hart enough to know most of the stuff the intern was saying, in my opinion, Kevin Hart has said it already on stage before. Like he talked about how he cheats all the time. He talks about how he lies all the time. Like he said that. So I was waiting on her to say stuff that would be jaw dropping. Like I don't know if you watched the interview about the guy from Will Smith. I think it's Bilal, brother Bilal, somebody
Brother
else.
Bilal.
Now
Hmm.
that one jaw dropping. Like the whole time he dropping stuff we've never heard. And but
Hmm.
this interview, I was like, oh, this tea a little cold. This was kind of. I'm glad I actually signed up on Tasha K site for to watch Sonya's interview on there. And I was
Hmm.
like, after all this time, she got me signed. I finally signed up just to watch the Sonya one. Now, when this one, the brother Bilal about Will Smith, that was interesting. This one with this intern, I really feel like she could have kept that to herself because it was mostly, except for the one like how you pointed out. She mentioned the insurance, that he didn't have insurance. That's something nobody knows. Nobody knew that. But most of the other
Yeah.
stuff that she was saying, I'm
But
like,
I mean, it's
okay,
serious stuff though. The
mm-hmm.
car not being insured, I mean,
Yeah,
that's
that was
he got his
serious.
car fixed or whatever, but the fact that switching drivers, that's a crime. Um Insurance fraud, that's a crime. Paying someone off to not
Mm-hmm.
have to deal with the crime, that's a
Mm-hmm.
problem. Fictitious police reports, that's a problem. Like that was a problem.
So
Um
majority of that interview, I'll say about 80%, I felt like she was not telling us stuff we already know just from watching him. And then I was looking at the comments, they were saying the same thing, like, this, what is this? What
Right.
Tasha, you
It
could have
wasn't
kept
earth
this.
shattering, but I
Yeah.
think what was earth shatter, not so much earth shattering, but the fact that she has an number one, she has an NDA, so she's not supposed to be speaking at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that so even if Kevin Hart kind of does comedy about his troubles, um, she wasn't really at liberty to be discussing it, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's not at liberty to discuss it. And I don't think, and I think also maybe the fact that Kevin Hart is saying that Tasha K's office called him to try to extort money to not run the interview. So I don't know. I don't know what it was. I mean, obviously there's been some employee issues in the office. So
Oh
I
yeah.
guess like for me, from an HR perspective, it seemed kind of like, wow, it sounds like the office is a complete shit show. But
Mm-hmm.
was it earth shattering telling all of Kevin Hart's business? I don't know. Not really. I don't know Kevin Hart like that. You know what I mean? Like I don't follow him like that, to your point.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it was just, to me, that girl was running her mouth telling all them folk business.
Yeah.
Now, whether it was cold tea or not, I don't know, because I didn't know any of his tea. But as far as having an NDA, she talked way too much. That's why she's getting sued. Like
Mm-hmm.
she was running cold tea, but it was tea she was supposed to keep to herself. That's why everyone's getting sued. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
And the suit
So
lawsuit came fast too. The interview just
he
dropped.
probably called the people. They got it ready that night and
Yeah.
presented it in the morning.
So this is my
So
last little point. I know
go
somebody's
ahead.
waiting. So with Pam Esquire, she read the documents of the lawsuit that Kevin Hart filed, and so only two parts that I remember even mentioned Tasha. So one part I know he said that someone from his team reached out to Tasha's team before the interview came out and said, "Hey, that intern is under an NDA. Do not air it." So that was one point. They warned her that the girl was under NDA, don't air it.
Mhm.
And the second part I remember her saying is that someone from Tasha team supposedly reached out to Kevin's team trying to, demand, hey, if you pay me, I won't air it. So my thing was they both of those sound indirect. It's not like they can confirm. So I'm curious how this is going to play out because if someone just only reached out to Tasha's team, quote unquote, and said, "Hey, don't air it. The girl's on the NDA." We don't know if Tasha got that message for sure. I don't know how that works, but I'm assuming like we don't know if she got that message for sure, which she probably wouldn't care anyway. We know how she is. But and then the other part about the money, if you're saying someone from her team reached out, how do you know that that person's truly from her team? How do that could have been anybody? So
Right. We
I'm
don't
just
know who
curious.
that was.
Right. So I
Yeah.
want to
As
see
far
how
as
that
the
plays
alleged
out.
extortion, Tasha
Mhm.
K could say that person wasn't authorized for my, I never authorized that call. I never
That
told
could have
anyone.
been
Why
anybody
would
on the
I?
internet.
Yeah. If I'm going to
Anybody.
extort for money, why would I extort for $250,000? That's crazy.
And she
Cause
owed
I'm
4 million. Why would she ask for
okay.
only
Or
250,000?
right. And it may not even just to be to cover her Cardi B bill, which would be crazy. But I mean, Tasha K, quiet as it's kept, might be making money on that website, because she's got movies on there. I was like, this is more than just like her putting up videos. She's got like a whole. It's like Tubi over there. She's got movies and everything.
Yeah.
Other podcasters are on there. It's doing something. So I don't know what ma'am has going on as far as what that website does, but it's making some money.
Yeah.
Now, as far as um those two issues, whether they called to warn Tasha not to play it and she ignored that, and then someone called back and said, okay, we won't play it, but you're gonna have to pay us.
Mm-hmm.
um I don't know. I mean, it depends on how it was said. If it was said in a manner that makes them feel that they were trying to be extorted, then why not go to the police? Because it's a crime. Why sue her? And where's the receipts? I mean,
Right.
they should have said, send us an email and tell us what you want, and we'll consider it or something. I don't know. Or why didn't they record it? I don't know.
You just made
It's
me think
quite
of one
possible it
last thing.
happened, but I just don't think. I was like, really? Would they do that?
But the
Okay, go ahead.
intern, she
Mhm.
said that you just made me think of something.
Well,
She
she was an
mentioned that,
assistant. She wasn't an
I'm
intern.
sorry, the assistant. her other someone else Kevin Hart sued in the past. I don't know if it was his best friend or something, but apparently he's sued this other person that was close to him and said it was extortion. And then remember when he was cheating, he got caught up cheating. He said that was extortion. He just going around saying everybody extort. Everybody ain't trying to
You know what I'm
exploit
saying?
his little butt.
Right.
All right,
And
that's all I
a
have. Thanks for
history,
having me.
yeah. So that's a history of like, how do you become the person everyone tries to extort? I don't know, but yeah, I think it's interesting. I think it's just
Mhm.
something to watch out for. Like for me, I could care less. It's Kevin Hart, but I do think it's interesting. Like Tasha K makes it a little bit more interesting for me that I'm interested in it,
Mhm.
um, because it is something that is in our community. You know what I mean? Like we watch YouTube, and I do YouTube and watch YouTube, so it's just interesting to me from that standpoint, because sometimes you got to get these lessons learned. So I'm curious from that standpoint, but as far as Kevin Hart and his shenanigans, I mean, we just gonna watch it play out. But yeah,
Yep, we'll see. Well, thanks for having me up,
thank
and
you,
I
Pray and
follow
Hustle,
both
I
your
appreciate
pages,
you.
so
Oh,
I'm
thank
following you.
you.
All right, well, you take care.
Okay, you take care. Thank you. Have a good night. Okay, take care. Okay, hot and poppin'. Excuse me. Wait a second. I'm sorry. I said what I said. Hold on. Hot and poppin'. Hot and poppin', you there? I can hear you.
Hello?
Yes, hi.
I can't hear you all. Hello? I can hear you. Okay, you don't have a back echo, do you?
Do I don't have
Yeah.
a what?
Okay, you don't have a back echo, do you?
Do I don't have a what?
Back echo?
Okay. So hot and poppin', this is what I'm gonna say. I think you may have me running in the background. You have to just take the call like you're talking on the phone or doing a FaceTime. Wherever you have me running in the background, go ahead and end it. Okay. So I'm gonna give you just a minute, and I'm gonna answer a couple of questions real quick. And I said what I said in Nurse T holding on, okay? Someone asked a question, how can you tell if a YouTube channel is monetized or not? You can't really tell. I mean, you can tell obviously if someone has membership, and not so much if they're running commercials, because YouTube about a year or two ago reserves the right to run commercials on anything on YouTube. Whether you opt in, if you're monetized, not monetized, they will run advertising on your content, period. So that doesn't matter. But if someone does have memberships, they are monetized, definitely. Um, and if you can give super chats and cash apps. But some people may not even have super chat cash app activated on their channel. They may not have membership activated, and they still could be monetized. So it's kind of hard to tell. It's just one of those things that um, someone might say it, but some people might not. But you can those are some obvious signs that someone is monetized. um Super chat, cash app, join button for excuse me, membership. Those are obvious signs. Okay. I think that interview was a diversion tactic. I wonder why would they do that. If something so Good point, and there could be something else going on that they want to kind of swerve or shift the focus. So that's a great point. um I don't know, but that's a good point. Thank you for bubbling that up. Okay, let me see if Hot and Poppin's back. Hey, Hot and Poppin', are you there?
Can you?
Okay, they got disconnected. Okay, when you come back, I'm going to bring you up next. Okay, I said what I said. I see you. You're on.
Okay, hey friend.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
What's going on?
Well, just
It's
listening to
Thursday. It's a call in. What's going on?
yeah, just listening to the hot topics.
Okay.
Um, I,
Did
I
you
just
see the interview?
I didn't see the interview,
Okay.
but I just don't understand why this lady like to be in hot water so much. You
Talking about
know?
are you talking about TK?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to say too much about her, you know. But it seems
Yeah.
like, yeah, it seems like she don't mind swimming with the crocodiles or anything. You know, she's not afraid. Got to give
No,
her that
she's not.
much.
Yeah, I think that's not a bad quality to be fearless, but um I mean, it can get you in trouble, but if she's fearless, that's on, you know what I mean? That's on sis. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I think I like her tenacity. I don't think that, that's definitely that's for her. For me, I'm probably not that daring, but I'm not her. So I definitely, if they did warn her and she went ahead with it anyway, you know, we're gonna see how that flushes out. You know what I mean?
right.
So what do you
He
think
said swimming
about
with the
what's been going
crocodile.
on? What do you think about what's
Also,
going on with Nesto and them?
well, I'm gonna say what a piece about Nesto, but also too, I just think this Mr. Hart thing could be like she said, a diversion, because I was thinking the same way. I'm thinking he may be implicated in the Puffy scandal, and like you said, sometimes people like for you to look over here instead of looking over there, and I just think it's a lot of people go if the Puffy scandal is true, then I think a lot of people are going to be implicated in that, and people are trying to get ahead, of the. I think he's just trying to get ahead of the story, trying to
So
use a
did people
deflection.
name him in the Puffy scandal? Did they
No, no, not yet, but he's at a lot of those parties.
the freak offs? You think that
Yeah,
Kevin
yeah,
Hart
he
was at a
does a lot
freak
of partying
off?
with us. Yeah,
What?
he does. Yeah, he be
What?
at the parties, and so
Kevin
uh,
Hart at a freak off? No,
well, I'm
ma'am.
not
What
saying
about
at the freak off parties, but I'm just saying he has partied with Puffy before. Let me put it that way.
okay.
Allegedly.
Wow.
Allegedly.
Those crazy I don't want to be invited to parties like that. I
Right.
don't I would be like, "What is going on here?
And
I
I
thought
don't
this was a
know,
dinner party."
right. And I don't know what's going on, but just think about it. It's like it's a war on our people, on our men people. It's like Me Too happened, and a lot of other people got implicated, and now it's like it's Me Too for us, for them.
Well, that's true, but keep in mind, some people are at home and not in trouble. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
but look at all of the people that's going down, from Will Smith, Jonathan
Well,
Majors,
what's
Puffy,
Will
and
Smith going down for? Because
well,
he might
him and
enjoy
Jada.
something. Go ahead.
Yeah, but his didn't his guy do a interview with Tasha K too?
But what did they say that he was doing? That he was interested in something he's married to Jada, and he said what was he alleging?
That he like that. I guess Jada's a beard maybe.
Okay. And
And
so
so
and I'm not trying to be all 2023 about it, but that's not a crime.
I
He may just
understand.
have not have wanted people to know. He may not have
Yeah,
wanted people to know, but he might like men. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? We're in 2023.
But at one time though, Jada and Will was like the perfect Hollywood couple for us, and everybody looked up to them, and they did start crumbling, about 10 years ago, but nobody never would have suspected that he was that way, in which like you said, nobody cares if you just come out and just do you,
Yeah.
but it's a shock to everybody that he would even, think
I
about
wasn't shocked, to be honest.
going that
I really wasn't. And
way.
they've been talking about Jada for years. Jada has been a problem for a long time. Jada
Mhm.
has been alleged to have broken up J Lo and Mark Anthony. That she had an affair with Mark Anthony. They said Jada has been around the block. Um, Will, you know what I mean? Like,
But Will always kept his nose clean. It's always been Jada, Jada, Jada. We never really heard anything about Will, you know.
well,
So
and
it was,
maybe. Maybe Jada wants him to look. Sometimes there's women out here that don't mind making their man look bad,
Right.
and she seems to be the bad guy in the relationship and she gets a lot of the heat. She might be
Mm-hmm.
one of these that is mad because nobody's ever mad at Will. So let me go ahead and drag him, put him out for being a homosexual and try to embarrass him. But it's 2023. Nobody really cares about that anymore.
Right.
And no one's checking for Will. Like no one's trying, I mean, he's not hot at the box office at the moment. It doesn't
Yeah.
make him a bad actor. And what happened with the Academy Awards and him slapping Chris Rock, he did that to
Mhm.
himself.
Right.
I mean, I've never been into the Smiths like that. I mean, they're okay, but as far as like black excellence or anything,
Mm-hmm.
I me personally, I never have gotten into that. I like seeing nice couples together and that's all well and good, but I have couples in my personal life that I see who've been married and have nice families and all kinds of stuff that gave me my inspiration of like what I would want to attain. I never
Mm-hmm.
really looked at Will and Jada for anything like that. So I'm not crushed at all. They're just kind of like, oh, okay.
I
I
just
mean,
I just think people in my generation though was just kind of shocked. I mean, I'm pretty sure the younger generation wasn't shocked, but we just didn't think of him like that.
oh, as being homosexual,
Yeah, it's going the
or
other
or
way. Yeah.
bisexual or something.
Yeah. So when he started
Well,
falling, when him and Jada problems started coming out, like I said, Jada have always been blamed for everything, but then it's like you never had any dirt on Will. You always had the dirt on Jada. But then when they kind of flipped it, and when Jada started talking and kind of putting their stuff out in the streets, remember everybody was mad at her for that, at the Red Table Talk when
It
she
was
had a
kind of
child.
like, would you stop already? Like for me with Jada, it's like, okay, I feel like Jada is low key jealous of her husband and
Mm-hmm.
she wants to make him look bad. She's just one of these that wants people to see what she sees. And I don't
Yeah.
think she likes him very much. And she would be happy for people to drag him. But Jada, sis, it's always going to be you. I think that people like her the least and
Mm-hmm.
people see her as trying. She's like a Sonya. She tries
Right.
real hard. Instead, just go sit down. Go be a mother, go be a wife, or go be an ex-wife. Go be what you want to be. But stop trying to make look stop trying to make Will look so bad all the time. That's the way I
Exactly.
see it.
Exactly. And
I
it
feel
just
like
seemed
she's
like a
just
lot of
mad.
couples. It just seemed like a lot of couples are breaking up this year. It seemed like this year was kind of tumultuous and turbulent for everybody. Seemed like, in as far as the famous people, but um,
And
that's
I
just all I have.
agree, like a Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade. I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes people need to stop living lies and realize, and then also keep in mind sometimes the reason why people got together, it goes away. So
Mm-hmm.
let's just say Will and Jada really have been one of these couples that wanted to stay together for the children, right?
Mm-hmm.
Guess
Right.
what? Our kids aren't kids anymore. So now
Mm-hmm.
what are we here for? The kids aren't even home. Kids have apartments. Kids are away at school.
Right.
What's our next reason? And they don't even really like each other. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
I I just some people I think Dwayne Wade seems like he wants to live his best life. Um Gabrielle Union very much comes across as a little bit of a ball buster. And that whole debacle of we split bills,
Right.
everybody don't have to know all your business. Like some of these women got it twisted on these relationships. And I think some of these guys who marry trophies realize, you know what, I kind of don't like you, or maybe you're just a little bit too much of a bitch. Or
Mm-hmm.
you know what, I got a new boo. I'm not interested. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think it can go
Right.
so many different ways as to why some of these men fall out of interest with these women. And some of them aren't so quick to want to get a divorce. They'll be okay with getting a girlfriend, but wifey wants to run everything and low key drag. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes in Hollywood, some of these scandals that come out are them calling behind the scenes into TMZ and dropping their own tea. A lot of these people are leaking their own information.
Right.
because that's what the assistant alleged is like Kevin Hart took that sex tape video. I don't know how it got to Famous. Like
Right.
it somehow it got to a maybe he was trying to hurt his wife. Like if that's the case, why would someone leak their own sex tape and you're married and your wife is pregnant? Why would you do something like that? Are you mad at her? Do you want to hurt her feel like some of this stuff sometimes is coming straight from the celebrities, but they are, they're an anonymous source. They pretend to be a friend, whatever the case might be. So I don't know. I don't get try not to get too emotionally involved. I would say if I were shocked to learn about a couple, which I didn't I used to watch the Kardashians, but when Bruce Willis start not Bruce Willis, when Bruce Jenner really started looking different,
Hmm.
it was a little bit shocking. But when he came out and said he was going to go and become a trans woman, you
Right.
could have had to pick me up off the floor. I was in shock. I was like, "What?" Like,
Yeah,
that
because you
was
never saw it
shocking.
coming.
I didn't we saw him looking very different, like, Sir's having too much plastic sur like, "Bruce, what you doing over there?" Because he
Right.
would be quiet in the episodes and everything. All of a sudden, he had the ponytail, and he just was looking so different, and then it made sense, and I was like, "Wow." And I really think that Chris Jenner wasn't really 100% aware of what the hell he was doing. Like he was just doing things bit by bit by bit to the point where it was like, wow, like this is what's going on. She
Yeah,
said
he
that
kind of
she was
sprung it
not
on
aware
everybody.
of what he was doing.
Yeah,
She was
I don't
not
think she
completely
knew. I
aware.
don't think she knew what he was doing either. He kind of sprung that on him because he kind of did it slowly but surely.
Yeah. Yeah. And then when they put all the pieces together, he'd had some behavior that kind of was like, okay, so I guess we did know like that he was doing some things that were different.
Hmm.
And but once it was put all together, but nobody expected that that was what was going to happen. Will liking some different variety in his sex life. I'm not saying that that wouldn't surprise me if I knew someone personally, but I don't know him, and I don't. You know, it's okay from
Yeah,
a
because no
distance,
one's
from the
ever come out.
tabloids. It's okay.
No one's ever come out and said that they were with him or anything. But
No,
it's just
nobody's
that
ever
God just
really.
had them. Yeah.
Absolutely. Plus, I think he's been with someone who lately they say that he's been seen with a lady who looks like Jada.
Right.
So I don't know if he's got a new lady. He might just it might just be a every blue moon I like the company of a certain type of person.
Hmm.
Um, you know what I mean? Like I don't know what the man's into, but yeah, it's interesting. So
Very.
okay, so what else do you have on your mind?
So about Sonya, I've been thinking about Sonya, and I think Sonya may be Nesto's karma in so many
Okay.
words, because you know how he just allegedly or it appeared that he kind of prey on the older women or women that has a certain amount of money or statue, of a certain way. He didn't seem like he just wanted anybody. He wanted someone with some money and that had something going on, fame, semi famous or just statue in the community. It's like he's always trying to attach himself to people who have money, right? And so Sonya all this time been trying to get him, and she realizes that because she's really paying attention to him now. Now that Shirley's gone, she's really been kind of paying attention to the conversation, and so she realizes that she really not going to ever measure up to what Shirley could ever be. She's not even a step below Shirley. Like the other caller said, I think it was Wisdom's daughter, who said that, she looked at Nesto's page and, how the type of life that he wants. So, she could never give him that type of life. So I think she's just kind of secretly and deliberately kind of sabotaging him to me, the way that she act like she's for him, but the things that she does is like sabotage to him. And it's like, kind of like a scorned woman. If I can't have you, then nobody else will. And I'm gonna tell these people everything that I know, or I'm gonna put you out there, because by her recording those conversations, having him on social media, and like everybody is saying, everything she touched turned to crap. Nothing she's done has been successful for him. But if you listen to her lives, she's kind of like low key telling it on her. And I know she know better, especially if she's a paralegal.
Yeah, I don't think she's a paralegal. Or maybe she could be a paralegal in Florida, but she said that there was something where it required you being having a bachelor's degree,
Hmm.
and I don't believe that she does. Hot and poppin', I got you back. I got you next, and then Braylon Lee, I've got you next. I don't know. I mean, I feel like Sonia may not be bright. I'm not saying she's dumb. Obviously she has street smarts, but I don't know that she is as sophisticated as she would like to think. I think
Hmm.
that she picks up a lot listening to people like Pam, even though she tried to kind of discount a little bit calling her Pammy Pam, but I think
Right.
she's in the bushes listening and watching to a lot of people. I think that if Sonia were savvy and Sonia were knowledgeable about his case, she would have showed up with notes. She would have showed up to Tasha K with something to talk about rather than telling people about how she'd been shot, talking her tea. Like she was sitting there for over an hour and she talked about herself. No one knows you. Like Tasha K, I would say from watching a few of her interviews, she's really good at shifting the conversation. And the thing is that people end up almost like a Barbara Walters in a way. Barbara
Mhm.
Walters would have people crying. She was notorious for the Barbara Walters interview, which meant you gonna be sitting there crying. Okay.
Exactly.
Tasha K has a knack for disarming people, and what they thought they came to talk about is not what they ended up talking about, and they end up sitting there dropping their own tea. Because I was watching her talk to YFN, what is it, YFN Melly's mom the other day,
YSL.
and no, not YSL,
Oh, the
YFN
other one.
Melly.
Oh, the other
He's
one.
a guy who's been accused, I think, of killing two people,
Hmm.
two of his bandmates, his group mates,
Yeah.
and his mom. She started talking about her creating OnlyFans and was talking about her nursing career. Like it went from a conversation about her kids to a conversation of us getting to know her. So where Sonia went, and she should have stuck with the script talking about Nesto. Ma'am was sitting there running her own tea and looking silly and not prepared to stay on topic, which was helping to try to push forward getting your friend, quote unquote, some press to maybe help change the narrative around him. All she did was further dig herself in the hole of the side chick mistress scenario, and picking up the phone when you know this man is not ready for prime time to talk to anybody. He is belligerent and illiterate. And what she did was made him look like what he is, someone who is deservedly sitting in the county waiting for his day in court. So,
But
yeah, she
but
doesn't do anything
remember,
to help him.
remember on on one of those lives, she kept saying that he had a girlfriend. He had a girlfriend. And it's like, you've already helped him lose Shirley. I'm pretty sure Shirley was getting tired, but I'm sure after she heard Sonya and him talking, that put the nail in the coffin. And his friends are kind of, she's his friends. None of his friends really care for her like that. They don't even really want to deal with her. She's already made sure a lawyer is gone because of her, talking crap to the lawyer. So it's like he's losing everybody because of her.
Right.
And I don't think he
Well,
see that.
no, because maybe because he doesn't have anyone else and he would be afraid to let her go because she's the only one who's in his corner. But it's a shame. He'd do better keeping to himself, getting into his paperwork, and trying to connect with his lawyer in a meaningful way that can get her to give him, even if it's 5 more minutes of time, to be able to give him an adequate defense. But he's spending too much time talking to this woman, and this woman, I don't even know what her goals are, but her goals don't seem to be pushing and advancing him forward. It's her trying to be cute on the internet and to, like, I don't know, push her own social media. I think part of her agenda is that she wants to push her own social media. Like, I saw some pictures from her social media where she's like, "Oh, just finished a photo shoot." For what? A photo shoot for what?
It appears that way, that she's trying to promote herself versus him.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I said what I said. What else do you want to tell us? Because I've got two people holding hot and poppin', has been waiting. What else do you want us to know about this? Like, what gets you the most? Like, what are you waiting to see, and what are you like? Can't wait to like get some more information about.
I'm waiting to see if Ernest is going to get bailed out, which I highly doubt, and if he's going to get a RICO case,
Yeah,
and if
those are
he's going
all
to go to
good
court.
things. I mean, if he can get bail on the grape and the CP, then he can be out. But until they decide to give him, until his lawyer comes forward with a compelling argument to make the judge kind of, okay, all right, that's fair. Here's bail, and then he can come up with that number and pay it, he's going to be sitting there.
But at the end of the day, I want to see if he's going to give a plea deal or not. When it's
Well,
time to
he's got,
indict him,
yeah.
I want to see if he's going to go to court or not, and that's really all I have to say as far as he goes and her.
Yeah. If he gets indicted and he decides to plea out and take a, but that's going to be him admitting to something. And that's if he gets indicted. So, yeah, those are all great points. I think 2024, we're going to start to see some stuff. So, it's going to start moving. I think they can't, it's been, well, it's been a good amount of time, and
Hmm.
I'm quite sure he's coming up next. Do you know what I mean? So,
Right, right. And at the end of the
um,
day, though, he's tired of being in there. So I don't think, and he's almost basically lost everyone. So I don't think he would mind taking a deal if it'll mean he'll do less time. That's the way I
he's
feel
got to
like
be
he'll go.
indicted though. He's not like, he's
Yeah.
got to get the indictment. Um, once he gets the indictment, if he asks for a speedy trial, then he should be able to get that. Um, I don't know. If he goes ahead and pleads guilty to certain things, he's done. He's not
Hmm.
going to be able to get a job, and he's going to be a social parasite. So,
Right. With all
um,
the registration and all that other mess.
yeah, it's going to
Living
be
at
a
night.
problem.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
gonna be a
So
big problem. Okay. Well, that's all I wanted to talk about. I'll go ahead and let some other people talk.
awesome. Well,
And I
thank you so
appreciate you
much. I
allowing
appreciate
me
you.
to come up.
Absolutely. Happy holidays.
You too, and thanks.
Thank you. Take care. Bye bye. Hot and poppin', are you there?
Good evening.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine.
Okay, good, good, good. I'm sorry you were waiting so. Braylon Lee, you're next. Okay, so Hot and Poppin', you waited a long time. So talk to us about what you wanted to like. Go ahead and tell us what you want us to know, or ask the question you want.
Okay, I want to tell you that I'm on a radio show. I do an entertainment segment on a jazz radio station in Detroit.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
mhm,
and WJZD. But
okay.
I've been talking about the Nesto thing, and it's something I want you guys to think about. Remember at the beginning when we first started hearing about about the phone calls. One of her first phone calls we heard, she told Nesto, she said, "Rich friend has a rich wife." Remember, she said something to that effect. Rich friend has a rich wife and la la la. You guys don't remember that. Please, somebody say they remember that.
No, I mean, I'm trying to remember like the context of what that was all
It,
about. So
it,
rich friend. So can
yes,
you give me
it was kind of like kind of like they were talking. I guess like this was kind of new, like they first just start talking in the jail or whatever. And it was something he's like, well, hey, they were all excited. And she said to him something about, well, hey, you got the rich wife. And she say, rich wife. And she said it la 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 la, nonchalantly, like she says, I love you. She said it like that. You have the rich, my friend has a rich wife. Because he wanted her to do something. That's what it was in that context. He wanted her to do something. And she said, well, I think wanted to put money on the books or something. And she said, you have a rich wife. I believe that Sonia believed that they both had a lot of money. And she wanted to get in where she could fit in.
okay.
That's what I really believe. And that's why all this stuff, she's got this website and it's her picture instead of his picture. And, all the things that she's doing, this is all for her. And she really thought they had money. And now that she's finding out that there is.
Oh, okay. You're talking about Sonia saying, "Well, you have a rich wife." Okay. I remember her saying something like that. Um and then he said, "Well, she's not rich anymore. I guess she had to
Right.
learn over time." Yeah. Okay.
Right,
Mhm.
right. See, she said that at the beginning because she thought that they were about the money, and she thought she was gonna. I don't know if you know who Coleslaw is, but she thought she was gonna be like this other female Ariane Curry, another side chick. And so she thought there was some money and she was going to get in. And now that she's listening to you and Pam and Grown Woman Vibes, now that she's
Mhm.
listening to all of you all and Sylvia, she's feeling stupid. She has to, because I'm a 57-year-old woman. And there's no way in the world I could imagine even saying this stuff to some man in jail.
She's ridiculous.
In
And
jail. And then now that everybody has heard it and you have grown children, like, what can you tell your daughter if you're messing around with somebody's husband?
I mean, she told Steve, not Steve, excuse me. She told Ernesto that her daughter had a boyfriend who was like 62 or something. So her daughter dates older men than her own mother. So
It's
I
tragedy
think
all
that
in
I
the
think that
family.
that's like not even a conversation. Nobody cares.
There's
Yeah.
tragedy all in the family. That's all that is.
Mhm.
There's tragedy. There's violence, and she likes it. And I think
Mhm.
she has. You could tell she has low self esteem because I think it's because of how she feels so small and she got her breast done. I think she there's a lot of low self esteem going on with her, but she seems to think she's smart. And Nesto was telling her, "You think you know," and she's like, "Yeah, I do know. You don't think I know, but yeah, I really do know." And I think what he's trying to tell her is, girl, no, what you don't know is I did all that. That's that's what I think he's saying. I did all that. That's what you don't really know. Because if you knew I was guilty of all this, you wouldn't be fighting for me. I don't
Mm.
guess, right?
Uh, Anybody with some sense.
Who would let a man bring over a toy? From where? Where did you get it from? Ugh. I mean, for real, who got? I wish you would bring me over a toy and say, and use it on me, like literally. Oh, come on, she's just going for any and everything, and I'm so glad that she is listening to you all. I really am, because this is the only.
Hot and popping. We lost you, sis.
Oh, you can't hear me?
Okay, no, I can hear you now. I can hear you now. You cut out for like 10 seconds.
I said about her toys. I said, how could you
Yes.
let some
Mhm.
strange man come and give you a toy and use it on you? Like literally, and I'm so glad that she's talking, listening to you all, not talking to you all.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
I'm hoping that she privately tries to get in touch with you or any one of the other ladies.
Mm,
For real, privately, just so y'all can say, "Girl, go somewhere."
I'm going to be really honest. I'm not open for that conversation, and I'm going to tell you why. Um, People like her who are duplicitous, I don't want to have anything to do with. I like to be neutral. Um, I'm here for Bougie Gang. I'm gonna be honest. I'm here for my community and I'm here to tell the story of I'm here to tell stories about topics that we're interested in. As far as the subject matter reaching out to me, I'm going to pass. Now, another moderator of their channel, if they feel like, another host of another channel, if they feel like they want to have those conversations, but to me, I feel like Sonia has been caught into one too many lies and I would rather not. I don't like liars and I don't like people using me to push the agenda forward. That's something I had to learn on YouTube because I've done interviews with people who have lied to me. And I just feel like through experience, I'll pass. You know what I mean? I'll
I,
just watch the videos, get the information. If I feel like someone is not a trustworthy or a reliable narrator, I don't have time for it, and I don't want to introduce those type of people to my community. We can talk about it. We're gonna discuss it, but as far as opening myself or my platform, I don't like having behind the scene conversations with people who are suspect. So Sonya can save her breath in trying to reach out to me. She's not blocked on this channel, so she's welcome to drop a comment. But as far as talking to me, no, I'm not interested. I'm just gonna be honest. I don't want to seem like I'm that way, but she has been caught in one too many discrepancies on the YouTube streets. I'm not really interested.
I understand.
You know what I
Another
mean?
thing, I
Yeah.
do. Another thing, I believe why she doesn't have any friends because we're around the same age. What woman our age wants to hang out with her? What would we
She's
talk
yeah,
about? I
right.
mean,
Her boyfriend,
how
her
could she
boyfriend in
come
the county.
just how yeah, how could she come and you know what? She thinks that's her flex. Okay, I'm he has a wife, but guess what? It's Shirley Strawberry's husband. That's what this is. That's that I think one of you all mentioned that months ago that some women thinks it's a flex if they're messing with someone who has a wife of some sort of status. Did you hear me?
I agree. Yeah, no, I agree.
This is her flex.
Um,
This is what she thinks is her flex.
right.
And he's
They
thinking you're stupid. He's thinking you're
right.
stupid.
He said nobody's looking for no N word for like, I don't know if she thinks that he's impressed because she looked for him for 5 weeks. I think when he's telling her he's not going anywhere and that's real loyalty, it's because he knows he's got a whole loyal pet right there. He's like, damn, she looked for me for 5 weeks. I can make her like maybe I can make her do anything.
He, he said
So
he said that's the crazy part.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's not getting rid of her because she
And then
knows he's got a loyal servant right there.
let me tell you a part that made me mad. When she was on her line, because I saw the playback from I don't watch her line. I think I saw from one of you or the other ladies' channels that I mentioned. She was talking about Dre. Oh yeah, Dre, you think Dre's good? I'll tell Dre. Like her and Dre is cool. I didn't like that.
And she must have not understand that Dre is Team Shirley.
I
And
think that she knew that she's trying to flex like she's on the team now. That's the way I believe she
oh,
knows that she's trying to act because somebody said somebody typed in that they like him and she said, oh, you like him, you think he's handsome? She said, yeah, he is handsome, I'll let him know.
right. I saw that part. Yes, from her interview.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I think she thinks, it's unfortunate. I think she lacks a little self awareness. I think she thinks that she's more in there than she really is. So to your point, you are exactly right. I think that she feels like she's in there. So yes, absolutely I agree. Um
Yeah, she thinks she
Right.
talking to the best friend and the son, right? That's next to mama. That's what I'm telling
Right.
you. That's what and that's the best she can get from all the guys that she dealt with. From talking, from listening to her. This is about the best she can get is to be somebody else's husband, girlfriend, friend, however. I don't know how you put it.
Helper. She's like a
Help,
whole helper.
a whole helper
She's a helper. Yeah, that's
for
it. She
him,
is a helper.
but not
Yeah.
the baby. Yes. Yeah, I'm for real. I've been listening to you all for a while. And so I'm sorry I had so much to say, but I'm over at home just nodding my head a lot. And I'm agreeing with everything you say, everything infamous Sylvia says, everything Pam says, everything grown woman. But I'm just agreeing with all of you all. And I'm so glad that I found you all, because it's such a mature channel. And
Oh,
and
thank you.
you guys talk about intellectual things that matter. It's when you all talk and have a discussion, it's not like it's a gutter conversation. It's uplifting. It's about something. It's women talking, and I like it.
I
Thanks.
appreciate you're so sweet. Thank you so much. I mean, look, Sonia is welcome to be in the bushes and whatever. At the end of the day, if she feels like she's getting some assistance from this, good. I mean, she did update his picture on the GoFundMe. Nobody told her to do it. We just told her she was stupid to have it like that. And she went ahead and took the notes and updated the picture. But if ma'am wants to still hang out and be a helper to a convicted felon who has been sitting for a year and a half in the county for some more crimes against the community and has been seen as a danger by more than one judge, not one judge, not two judges, but maybe three judges who've seen fit to give him high bails and also not give him bail. That's her business. I mean, if she wants to sit around and be and sit around and waste the rest of her life for that or waste the years that she has, um she can go right on ahead because nobody, I mean, that's just one less person in the game when there's a good man out here that really is looking for someone genuine and doesn't have to take up his time dealing with the likes of Sonya because Sonya is full of mess. I just when she says she's out here dating, I'm like thinking you got to be lying because there's nobody who's going to date a woman like you who is who is investing so much time in being on the phone with this man because your social media is trash right now. Anyone who searches Sonia Durham is going to come up with this, and any decent man in a certain age group is not going to have anything to do with you.
Yes, they will. I'm gonna tell you who would. I'm gonna tell you who would because I'm at her age. Remember, I'm 57 and I know what's out there. I'm single. There's not really much out there. I mean, I might be lucky if I get someone may have lost his wife or something, but all the good guys are gone for the most part. The ones that are left are the ex-cons. Those are the ones that will pick her up. I'm serious. The ex-cons will pick her up and she will be a runner because she likes that type of guy. She likes that type of environment. She's
Right.
because who,
Hmm.
who would just at 50 something years old divulge themselves into that? And then she even, come on now, remember she told him, she said, my boss wants me to come to Atlanta. Right, right.
Mm-mm-mm.
Right, right. Just so happened. Imagine that. She's in Florida and her nesto is there, and now her boss wants her to come there because it's more money. Right. This lady is
She's
who does
thirsty.
this?
Yeah,
I mean,
she's thirsty.
she's thirsty and she looks hungry.
Mm. Well, and also we know she's got the medical problems. She sat up there on Tasha K and told everybody how she lost 2/3 of her intestines and she can't hold food, and that's why she's so small. So she's obviously got issues. She has no intestinal tract, so she eats and she probably dumps right away. And information that we didn't need to know, information that had nothing to do with Nesto, information that if she like she's so inappropriate and she's not ready for prime time. And the sad thing is that she thinks she's sophisticated spokeswoman
She
who
said
is
she built
like,
for it. Remember, she
oh,
said, "Oh, I'm
okay,
built for
well,
it." And
good
now,
for
did
her.
you see? She just the other night just update her thing and say that she's not going to be doing the Ernesto thing anymore. She's getting away
Oh,
from
she
that.
did.
I
She
believe so. I
did.
think I saw it on Grown Woman Vibes. I believe so. I saw that she updated. Somebody asked her something, and she said she's moving away from that now.
Oh, maybe it's in her comments. We're going to get to her live stream. We have not gotten there yet, but her
Oh,
live stream, we're not going to do it tonight, of course, but she had a 2-hour live stream 8 days ago and I hadn't even watched. I'm going to be honest. I got to about 40 something minutes, but if you guys want to watch it, we can watch it tomorrow. I just, I just wasn't motivated to
I'm never
watch it,
motivated. Yeah,
but
clips of her is
I'm
okay.
eager. I would be interested to see what she had to say at this point. So I wouldn't mind watching it. Now it's been like it's been, it's been over a week. And I think that there were some lies. So we'll see.
Would you,
But yeah,
if she happens to be listening, would you please tell her to take the "and" at the front of the sentence on the
and
GoFundMe? Yeah.
oh, yeah, no, we're not helping. Like you just told her, but we're not
Oh,
helping. We
okay.
can't
Dog
help
it.
her. She has At 55, I would think hot and poppin', she needs to save herself. We can't keep holding her hand at 55 years old. If sis wants to be a fool and thirsty, let's let her. If she wants to have an unprofessional, if she wants to have her GoFundMe for her boo thing be just childish and misspellings and poor grammar, we gonna let her. Yes, as a paralegal, she should know better. Let's let her continue to make a fool out of herself. Like some people want the easy way or some people want the hard way. I think Sonia wants the hard way. So we're not helping.
You know,
We're not helping.
as far as a paralegal is concerned, my daughter went to school for a paralegal, and so there is associates, and then there's the bachelors, and so on, and then you have to be licensed, and there's also a certificate. I believe that she started getting a certification. I don't even think she even completed because there's no woman. I will be graduating next month, and there's no woman that will be saying that they do. You know, they want me to go to school to get that. You will go to school and do it.
Well, in just her association with a felon and someone who is actively sitting, in wait for potential indictment, or
Yeah.
someone who is under some criminal charges, that's kind of, I would say that's probably not using your best judgment, putting yourself out in the public. I as a paralegal, and you might have someone who fights defense cases. I mean, she's not a charity. She doesn't work for like an innocence project or
Right.
anything like that. Like, why would you put yourself up on the line for that? Someone's saying congratulations to you in the chat.
Oh,
So
thanks. I
maybe
can see it. Thanks so much. I'm getting my film, my associate's degree.
good for you.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I'm a
Yeah.
veteran, so I can go to school as many times as I need to as a
Oh,
veteran.
nice.
So yeah,
Well,
yeah, it
She may
helps.
have she may have gotten a certificate because maybe that could have been part of, she'd been in legal trouble before. So maybe it's possible that they made her go and get some sort of education or certification, um, exiting whatever programs that she was in when she was in trouble years ago. But look, I've got Braylon Lee. I've got someone holding behind you. What do you want to leave us with right now, hot and poppin'?
I just want to tell all the ladies, good evening, and I'm glad to be part of you all because I
Oh,
listen to you guys
good.
every
Yeah,
day.
we're not trying to be harsh with Sonia and everything, but sometimes, they're
I
like
think we
some
need
people
to.
just need to grow up. Yeah.
Sometimes you got to be cruel to be kind.
Yeah, if she wants to sit in the bushes and get all this get all these women and men who are sharing in the comments and in the chats, opportunities for her to maybe turn this thing around for herself or for Nesto, good. But as far as thinking that she's going to drive the narrative or she's going to make it look like people are coming for her, nobody's coming for her. We're discussing a hot topic that really doesn't have anything to do with her other than the fact that she keeps putting herself into it. And at the end of the day, nobody's really checking for her. She keeps putting herself in situations where it's like, well, and we are going to talk about it. Like if that's what you want to do, ma'am, we're going to talk about it, but stop trying to make it seem like people are coming for you. Nobody's coming for you.
Sonia, go away. Really,
Right.
just
Go
go
handle your
away.
business.
Sonia, go away. Go back to school. Go back to school. Just go back to school. Just get
Right.
away from everything.
Right.
Go back to school.
Leave
Come
Shirley's
back.
husband alone.
Right, leave Shirley Tilson because how does that look for you to have a thing up there for for Shirley's husband? So if somebody said, "Well, where's Shirley?" What are you going to say? This is for her husband. Well, where is she?
Okay. And
Right. That's how
right.
stupid that look. Oh my
It was
goodness. Okay.
it was dumb when she said, should she go smack Shirley? After that, I was like,
Oh,
ma'am, you're
oh, I
done.
didn't hear that. See, okay, let me go. I didn't hear her say
Yes.
that. I didn't hear her
Yes.
say that.
Yes, she did. She
So
did. She
when,
said, should I smack her? The other night,
really?
this was a couple of nights ago. She was having a conversation with Nesto. So maybe like go back in my reactions, like about maybe 2 or 3 ago, and she said, "Should I smack her?" And I was
If
just
she
like,
don't
"Okay,
get
you're
off
done."
if she don't get off this, if she gets on there one more time,
Right, log off, Sonia. Log off.
Sonya, log off for real. Go, Sonya. You got 4 sisters. I'm your big sister. I'm 57. Go, girl. Please go. You look very, very bad. And Nesto is trying to tell you. I hope Dre tells because Dre will speak the truth. I hope Dre tells her. Maybe she'll listen to Dre.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
good evening. I'm
Well,
going to keep listening, ladies.
right. And then make sure we want to hear back from you again. We love all the callers. So next Thursday, I'm sure it will be another call in. Okay.
I'm in.
And probably somewhere in between. But yeah, thank you so much. You take care.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Bye bye. Okay, Braylon.
Hello, how are
Hi.
you?
I'm doing fine. Sorry
Um,
to keep you holding so much,
no,
so
no,
long.
I have been enjoying the conversation. Hello to the
Okay,
chat.
good.
I saw you on Tasha K's panel. I thought
Oh,
very
really? Thank you.
and I've been following it, not as intensely as you and phone calls from prison. I covered the strawberry letter that morning when Steve and them went live. I think what this situation honestly is, and by the way, I am a content creator as well. I do want to
Well,
just,
welcome. Welcome. Do you have a YouTube channel?
I do, but
Okay.
I won't drop the link unless it's respectful. I want to respect your platform.
Absolutely.
Um, so,
What's the name of your channel?
it's just Braylon Lee, and you'll see
Okay.
this face here. I
Okay.
cover media, culture, and human interest stories. So I
Awesome.
appreciate it.
Okay.
Um, so y'all remember the strawberry letter that morning when Steve,
Yes.
Shirley, and the crew went live? There's a lot that people don't know. Hollywood, or Hollyweird, as some of you may call it, it's a big industry, but everybody knows each other. And so Shirley Strawberry has been in the game for over 20 years. She worked with Doug Banks on 107.5 WGCI FM Chicago. And when the Strawberry letter happened, I figured that they were going to play it up to Shirley's strengths of her vulnerability and the audience, but I also knew that they were going to have to really come with it. There's this thing called social capital, and basically there's a
Mhm.
book from Damon John called The Power of Broke, where every like, comment, share, subscribe, retweet, recommendation, whatever, is important. And so Steve Harvey and the whole morning show crew really invested their social capital into this story by force. And listening to the calls, I really truly feel that Sonya does not have a purpose. So she has to hold on to anything and everything just to exist.
Yeah.
Um, with Ernesto, um, listen, I know I've made mistakes, but there is no way in hell you're going to get me anywhere, not here, there, not anywhere, Braylon, I am, in disrespecting somebody who was holding it down for me. Um, and it was just the way that he was laughing and being disrespectful and not really caring. Because my thing is, if this was your damn mama that was holding down your dad, Ernesto, or an auntie or a grandmother or a niece or your own daughter or anybody, would you be laughing? Because I'm just like, this radio career could have been gone of 20 years. And as we know, cancel culture is widely available. Um, and I think the fact that he does not understand the responsibility of it speaks to his character.
Yeah. And I think honestly, at first, I wasn't sure if you were talking about Shirley or Sonia, but I realized you're talking about like Shirley, as in when he was kind of like a little bit too excited about the fact that he's like, oh my God, I'm I'm on the news or I'm this and that. And then of
Yes.
course behind the scenes we're hearing his actual reaction of the strawberry letter and his disdain for her saying her estranged husband. Like he seemed to particularly
Correct.
hold on to the estrangement, and really doesn't even have a definition. He's going based on what Sonia told him, but up until that point, he was kind of okay with everything. But then also, even more recently, during that time period, we still see that um, Sonia, who's bringing him the news, he and she's like, "Well, they think you're my girlfriend." He's like, "What? Who would say
Mhm.
that?" Well, aren't I mean, she kind of is, I guess. The funny thing for us is that we see her as a mistress, but he sees her as absolutely nothing but a friend. So when she says he's my friend and they're like, I love you very much, and they're talking about sex and all of these things, um it does seem to be a little bit off putting because you kind of feel like there's more. But really
Correct.
and truly, I think Sonia feels more. I think Nesto feels nothing. I
Mhm.
don't think he cares about Shirley or Sonia. If we were to have to pick of who he cares about, I honestly think he cares more about Shirley because Shirley is where his bread is buttered, and he
Yes.
feels comfortable with Shirley because Shirley represents the future. And I've said this a bunch of times about Nesto. I feel like he has a Madonna whore complex, and this is a perfect example because he asked for a virtuous woman, which is Shirley.
Mhm.
Sonia is not it. She's not the virtuous woman. She is who is symbolic of the whore in the relationship because, and not from a malicious standpoint, but this is a term in psychology. And he's got two women that represent a very, like, two different places for where a woman could be in a man's life. And I think that he is very conflicted. But I think at the center of it all is just him and his ego. And he really doesn't care. He painted himself into a corner with these charges. He doesn't have the means, or he's not savvy and sophisticated enough to get himself out of this problem. And
Mhm.
he's got one person who's no longer interested anymore, and he's got the person with the least amount of power who's interested to his demise, who's interested way too much. She's going to end up getting him locked up for real.
No, absolutely. I mean, the best way I can relate this situation to a TV show, because I'm from the world of media. I've been in media since 2012. Is, to me, Ernesto seems like Lucius Lyon to me.
Yeah.
Now,
Hmm.
follow with what I'm saying here. We
Hmm.
all know Nesto can't do music, so don't even come for me with that. But what I'm saying is, Nesto seemed to get a come up with a woman who supported him as he was coming up. And when Cookie got out of jail out 17 years and claimed was hers, he got upset because there was a break in the matrix.
Mm-hmm.
However, the situation is flipped now because Shirley, who has always had to come up, now he's trying to be Cookie and trying to be a victim of saying, hey, listen, I'm your husband. You're supposed to support me. In the words of Karen Huger to Giselle, when you deserve friendship, I'll be a friend.
Right.
And
Mm-hmm.
so I think he has a superior complex of being the victim of, why aren't you here for me when I'm here for you, when that's what the hell you're supposed to do. So yeah.
So, someone's saying in the chat, so we've talked about him having imposter syndrome, but not necessarily. So, the Catch Me If You Can was a gentleman, Leonardo DiCaprio played. I forgot the character's name, but basically it was kind of like, I mean, he did a little bit of everything. But he was basically an imposter and kind of hypergamous. So I do see what you're saying, 504. He was hypergamous in the fact that he was a social climber. He was not from, let's say, the cast or the set that he was trying to attain to, and he was imitating people, he was stealing identities, he was doing a little bit of everything. So I get it. Yeah, I mean, Ernesto is definitely hypergamous. He definitely he does suffer from imposter syndrome, from the, not just from being imposterous or portraying himself as someone he's not, but just also from the internal, I'm not worthy. Because I feel like that's where Shirley, even unbeknownst to herself, I don't think Shirley maliciously tries to emasculate him, but I do feel like when he talks to Shirley sometimes he feels very small. I think with Sonia, he has the ability to feel a little bigger because she is unaccomplished. She doesn't have anything. She's kind of a
Right.
nobody. And I think it makes him feel, it makes him feel big. Um, I think Shirley and her lifestyle and Shirley correcting him and telling him to read the Bible and all of the things, I think it makes him feel a little less than. And I feel like I don't think she intentionally tries to emasculate him, but I think that because his ego is so fragile, that's what happens. Like this story is very interesting because these personalities are so complex and the story is quite complex, and that's why I find it so compelling, because there's so many things to talk about. All like we could talk, like literally we really didn't have much to talk about tonight, but we've been talking for 2 hours because this is a very complex story and it touches so many different things. Do you talk about this on your channel?
I haven't. The last time I got into this was the strawberry letter, because I'm a big believer in, even though social media, until it hits the web or until it hits everyone where it needs to be. That's the way I kind of take it, to just save myself, because I'm not trying to get sued. Okay, I'm trying to
Mm-hmm.
have money and keep money and evolve with my
Right.
wealth. But I do agree with you. I think that and by the way, the streaming awards, I don't know if it's up or not, but phone calls from prison should be nominated as a up and coming content creator with this series, because it's the soap opera that never ends on social media. And I do agree with you, Real Talk Bougie, that there is so many different layers, because I think a lot of people could give two damns about celebrities.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the reason why this is hitting so many different points, as you so articulately stated, is because everybody has been where Shirley is, and everybody can be where Shirley is at.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you who may be wondering about the engagement call, It still is on Steve Harvey's page. So before Steve Harvey moved out to LA and all that stuff, he had like what, the talk show in Chicago, Little Big Shots, Family Feud, Celebrity Family Feud. He was everywhere. So they have always been based in Atlanta. When he got on for Family Feud, he was taping from Universal Orlando Resort, and he would do the radio show in Atlanta. So when you guys hear, Ernesto coming in, he's in Atlanta. And when Steve said, well, he was going to fly to me, y'all like, well, wait a minute, where is Steve? There's a thing called ISDN line, where it's basically a specialized line where you can call in and it seems like you're there, but you're not really there. Tom Joyner eventually had an ISD line because Tom Joyner was on K104 in Dallas, Texas, and then he would fly to WGCI. He did that for, I think, about 6 years. But anyway, Steve Harvey was in Chicago at the time with the Steve Harvey Talk Show that was through Edema and NBC. So hopefully that gave some context.
Well, a lot of people get confused by that because, like, Nesta was on the phone the whole time. Like,
Yes.
it's unfortunate. There's a lot of women, and I hate to say it like this, women. Some people feel like you see a man on a phone, they feel like, oh, who was he talking to? It was obvious to me that he was talking to Steve, and Steve was not in the studio that day.
Yes.
Steve was in another studio, and he was talking to Steve, and they were basically Steve was basically either in another studio, like you said, or he could have been working from home. Like these days, it's obvious everybody's in a different city because we've
Correct.
had COVID, and it's made it more real for companies and even radio shows to kind of, people can live their life and you don't have to all be in the studio to get the job done anymore. But 10 years ago, that was a little bit, it was still kind of like, thou shalt be in the studio. So
Yeah.
yes, Nesto was on because at a certain point, you can hear that the phone and the microphones were starting to interfere with each other.
Correct.
Because at a certain point, he could actually have just put on some headphones and heard Steve just fine. But he was still talking on the phone or had the phone up to his ear because that's the only way he could hear what Steve was saying, because he was now in the studio with everybody. So, but yeah, a lot of people feel like Nesto was being shady during that moment because he should have got off the phone. He couldn't get off the phone because he was talking to Steve. We've talked about that many times, but for some reason, there's a lot of women who have a sensitivity to men who don't give them adequate attention and have some sort of a trigger around the telephone, and saw that as Nesto being disrespectful or not being 100% in because he was on the phone, but he was talking to Steve, so he had to be on the phone.
And not
So,
and not to
you know,
mention too, yeah, I mean, how many times have we walked into a radio studio at 8 o'clock in the morning talking to a celebrity like Steve Harvey? Like that doesn't happen for any of
no.
us. You know what I mean? And listen, I try to break it down from a everyday point of view because um, media for me growing up is still my place to fall. I come from the 90s where Slime Time Live and Double Dare 2000 and Rugrats and, Fridays on Cartoon Network. So I come from the era where it was about creativity, not numbers.
Mhm.
And so, with radio, like you said, 10 years ago, it would be disrespectful. I come from the world of Tom Joyner where it's like, civil. Oh, good morning, Mr. George J. Anthony Brown. And I think the next thing I'm going to say, I think everybody knows this. What's the deal, Pickles? Is everything kosher? My man, Tom Joyner, my Civil Wilkes. Do you notice that on Today in radio, you can't pop off something like that and everybody knows what it is? Because radio today is more about the singles of these interviews. I believe that celebrity interviews are just basically ways that celebrities can tell us about their projects so they won't be homeless on the street. No disrespect to any celebrity because I'm trying to get there, but I'm just breaking it down. Where with the Tom Joyner Morning Show back in the day, you listen to the whole 4 hour album
Oh
from
yeah.
6 to 10. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's different. It's very different because now, I mean, honestly, on the Steve Harvey Morning Show, people might just be tuning in for the segments to hear what Shirley's talking about. I had a couple people message me, tell me that they were being shady to someone called side chick something, like that came up recently, like side chick something, and felt this person who messaged me said that they felt like maybe they could be getting a little sassy with Sonia. I don't know, but great point. So you're following the story, but you're not necessarily reporting on it. um what's keeping you interested in the story at this point, or what would you like to, like, what are you waiting to have see? Are you eager to see an indictment, or are you really not so much that you want to see him indicted,
sure.
I'm not saying it like that, but what are you most anxious to see in the progression of this case? Are you thinking he's going to be on the street soon with bail? Are they going to drop the charges, or do you see him being indicted with no bond on his most serious charges?
No, I definitely see him getting indicted. I think everybody knows the charges by now, and I'm not trying to confuse y'all at all in the chat. I'm a media nerd, so please forgive me. um, but
It's okay. We're getting it back on track though.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
But no, I do see an indictment coming. Because the charges are too damn high.
Hmm.
And it's too real. I
Hmm.
think what's keeping me interested is people like you, Real Talk Bougie, and your lovely chat and phone
Oh,
calls from
thank you.
prison, for really breaking down the humanity of this. And like I said, I've covered so many other things that, the Jonathan Majors and the P. Diddy's, and just it seems like one thing after another. I just saw something from the Jasmine brand saying that Jermaine Jackson now. So I've been following other things,
Not
but I
Jermaine
think
Jackson.
yes, it's
Wow.
on the Jasmine brand. But I will say the thing that kept me interested is the fact that I love radio, and the Steve Harvey Morning Show, and I also love us as a culture. And even though
Hmm.
I am 29, um, I have a mom, I have a dad, I have a sister. I know that this is very typical to say, but I have learned that at the beginning, middle, end of the day, as important as it is knowing who to become, it's also important to know who not to become. So that's what has
Absolutely.
kept me interested in this is a learning and teaching tool that we can all be a
Absolutely.
problem, can all be a solution. So
It really is. I definitely agree with you there. So yeah, Braylon, thank you so much for coming up
no
today
problem.
and having
Much
some
love.
time with us. And don't be a stranger. And guys, Braylon has a YouTube channel and it's Braylon Lee. So you guys look him up, and Braylon, definitely comment down below, like drop a comment later so we can come by and check you out. But yeah, it's definitely a very interesting case, but I appreciate you coming through and sharing your perspective tonight.
No problem. Much love to you all. Keep being
Yes,
amazing. Much love.
thank you.
No
Appreciate it.
problem.
Take care. Okay, guys, another amazing call-in show. We started out talking a little bit about Tasha K and Maisha, who is Kevin Hart's assistant, and we rolled it into um talking a little Shernesto with you guys. Lots to talk about, I think, tomorrow. um so if you wanted to go through and talk a little bit more about what's going on with Kevin Hart, we can, but I'm prepared for whenever things kick off a little bit more because I've got the document. Thank you, Braylon, for coming through. We've got Braylon has a channel, guys, go check him out. um and as far as what's going on with the case, look, it's the New Year's coming and we're going to see some things. I think we're going to start to see some activity coming very, very soon. Um, there has to be, right? Um, and we're just going to stay posted on it, right? Because there's so many things to talk about with this case, But of course, we want to, keep up on some other hot topics. So I appreciate y'all who came earlier while we were talking about what's going on with Kevin Hart and everything else. Because, yeah, there's plenty of things going on right now. And while we have the time before the case gets super juicy, we're definitely going to get into it. Yes, and we did have some fellas call tonight, which was very nice. And that's just a clear indication that we are growing and our male audience is growing, and the guys are calling in. They feel comfortable to call in here, which is perfectly fine. Because we certainly appreciate the male energy to like keep it balanced as far as them offering up the perspective from a guy's point of view. We didn't really even have to ask what they thought about Sonya because men don't have respect for side chicks. Like, you're a side chick for a reason. If they wanted you to be wifey or meaningful, they wouldn't turn you down, and they wouldn't say things like, well, what would they say that for? What do they think that for? Or what are you talking about? Like, Nestor doesn't even claim Sonya. He barely claims her for a friend. I don't even understand why she needs to tune into my live stream to understand how she looks. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with this guy. But if that's how she wants to go out, that's her business, because we're just watching and we're sharing opinions, and we can definitely do that. She can not like my opinion all she wants, but I have a right to share it. And we are watching and listening to these calls that were legally obtained, and we are certainly um, giving our thoughts and opinions on it, right? So, and it is certainly a cautionary tale, and it is highly advisable to see when you see someone like Asanya to know that that is not the way to go, because it's embarrassing. And like we all know, what's done in the dark will come to the light. And any woman who is considering taking crumbs and being a disruption to people's marriages, just understand it's a very embarrassing and low place to be when it's all found out. Um, anyway, guys, this was fun. This was another amazing call in. Find a safe place, Sonya. Let Nesto figure this out. He can be a man to you when he gets out. Right now, sir needs to fundraise. And honestly, I almost feel like his chief fundraiser is not going to give him a dollar while he's associated with the likes of Sonya. I don't think that his chief fundraiser is going to do anything for him. Which would be Dre, right? But yeah, we had some great callers tonight, and I certainly appreciate that. If you guys have any questions, sure to run them through. I have been horrible about answering comments. I've had to get through and release lots of comments, but I'm so behind. So tomorrow I'm going to spend some time on that. And it's definitely giving pick me energy. Absolutely. It's giving pick me energy. I'm waiting for I know, okay, two things. Um a couple of weeks ago, we did go through some calls. You guys asked me to drop them. I'm going to do my best to do those recordings tomorrow and drop those phone calls. We had like 4 calls that we listened to that were out of sequence, and maybe ones that I don't believe they're ones that phone calls from prison had dropped yet. And you know how I'm going to do it. I'm just going to record it and I'm just going to drop it. And they are the ones where Sonya asked him or said that she thought he was a pimp, and just I can't remember, but I guess the source video um I will drop as a throwback so you guys know where they come from. But I will get those calls out because I've been telling you guys, and we haven't advanced with listening to any, because to Sonya's point, there's so many calls, and it's not even possible. Just like our friends at Phone Calls from Prison said, it's almost impossible to put everything out there. The way that they drop the calls and the journalistic um quality that they put with it, I don't know what Sonia thought was that they were just going to do like a whole data dump and just dump a bunch of videos. That's what she would like. So it's overwhelming and nobody's going to watch it or listen to it. So Sonia doesn't get to change the narrative. She doesn't get to create a plan for Phone Calls from Prison on how they're going to release their content. She probably would like to, but that's not her place, right? So to that point, that's where we got into those other snippets of calls, and then you guys were asking me to release those. So I will get those put up. Um, I'm gonna try and get up at least 2 tomorrow. So you guys can listen to them in its entirety. Okay. Um, God got my back. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, sis. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But yeah, I think that's it for tonight. I think we covered a lot of ground. It's not a call, and if it's not 2.5 hours, I mean, my God, always got so much to talk about. Anyway, y'all, you guys have a wonderful evening. Be safe, and I will talk to you guys soon. I'll see you guys tomorrow because I'm sure I'll be here every day until the end of the month. So but if you guys have something you want me to talk about and or have a question, please make sure to drop it so I can get back to you, okay? Anyway, guys, take care. Have a good night. I'm going to let y'all go. And I'll see you guys somewhere. Hopefully, we can get back on lunch. Next week, Farrah goes back to school. So I'll be back on my regular schedule of like lunch times and 1 or 2 eve nights a week or something like that. So, but I've been all discombobulated pretty much since Thanksgiving. So, anyway, thank you for sticking with me and having your notifications set. So, okay, guys, take care. I'll see you later.